Welcome to the podcast that passes poor performance on pop culture. I'm one of your hosts, Darren Duncan, alongside with my best friend, Audie Marsh. We're just a couple of cool cats casually causing some chaos with conversation. We're here to entertain you, not hurt your feelings, so don't blame us. Here we are live on a Saturday evening at fucking 10:40 p.m. We never do this, but we've noticed that a lot of these fucking YouTubers and shit go live every single day. So, like, I don't know, maybe that's why they got a big following. So let's fucking try that. You and I definitely can't go live every single day because we have lives. And you know what I mean? Like, we're fucking busy. So, but let's just fucking see how it goes and see how it works, and we'll just have fun. This won't pop up on the Spotify. This isn't one of our official episodes. We're just gonna go live and see how people interact and see if they watch, and if they don't, then fine. I'm just gonna hang out with you. I was thinking about bringing on my homeboy David Hogan because he's been listening to us since fucking day one, and he's the guitar player of the band that him and I are in called Cranial Casket, and he's a super rad dude. And this motherfucker hikes his balls off. Like, this dude he goes camping in the middle of the winter. I'm like, fuck that. And he makes his own knives. No, dude, this dude goes camping when it's balls cold out. It's like -4, and this fucking guy goes camping. I'm like, fuck you. But he loves it, and he's like a survivalist, and he's just fucking wild. So send him that link, and we'll have him hop on, and we're gonna ask him some questions and see if he ever seen a Sasquatch. And then I got a bunch of other shit that we can talk about. I got some links and some videos that we can do and shit like that. Actually, I have a thing that I want to read while Dave Hogan is on here because remember Lydia's Castle?
Yeah.
We had Lydia's Castle on our podcast, and I have this Facebook post from their bass player, Corey Scott England, and he made this really fucking amazing Facebook post, and I read it and I saved it, and I'm like, I'm gonna read that on the podcast someday, and I'd like Dave to hear that, because he's a fucking musician and he's been in several bands and he could probably relate to it. So did you send him the link or what?
Yeah, it's in it.
All right. Let's see if he fucking hops on here. I'm sure he will. If not, then I'm just gonna fucking go to sleep.
Yeah, I sent it. I'll double check. Let me see if he
I told him to be ready, so I'm sure that he'll hop up in this joint soon enough. I told him we sent it, so
yeah,
we'll be good.
Sent.
Willie, yo, what's happening with your bad self? So Audie and I decided to go live tonight randomly because I noticed how all these fucking YouTube people with the big channels, they go live like every day. And Audie and I were like, man, we can't do that. We have lives. We have like real responsibilities. So but we figured that like we go live tonight and just fuck around. Like, this isn't gonna hop up on the Spotify. This isn't an official episode. We're just gonna fuck around and talk. And we do have a guest that's gonna come on here for a little bit, and it should be pretty interesting. And we're just gonna talk about like random current news that happens in my area, because where I'm from is super duper in the ghetto. Another child is born in the ghetto. You ever heard Elvis? So where the fuck is Dave Hogan at?
Right here.
There he is. David fucking Hogan. So for everybody, yeah, we can hear you. We can see you, you handsome son of a bitch. So for everybody that doesn't know, David Hogan is one of my fucking best friends. He hangs out with me all the time in Pennywise Pub, and he's an amazing fucking guitar player. Him and I have a band, and it's just us two, and we are called Cranial Casket. Genius fucking name, by the way, that he came up with all by himself. And we have a song called Nightmarica, and it's on YouTube. It's on my YouTube. Go check it out. But the reason why we brought in David Hogan is because what he does for fun is fucking weird to me. Like the internet thinks that what I do for fun, like, oh, he watches horror movies. I bet he kills people. Like that's weird to them. But what David Hogan does for fun is way more weird, and that is go camping when it's fucking -4 degrees outside. So
Yeah, why not? There's no bugs.
there's no bugs. That's a really
Yeah,
good
that's the best
fucking
part
point.
about it, man. No bugs.
Like this dude makes his own knives. I can assure you he's never inserted them inside the body of a college kid, but he makes his own knives. And I'm not trying to be funny or make light of the situation, but people want to fucking assume shit about me. Let's not assume things about David. David makes, or Dave, whatever. He fucking makes his own knives. They're gorgeous. He makes his own guitars. You should see this fucking guy's guitars. It's called Panic Customs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's made guitars for fucking David Lee Roth. David Lee Roth don't even play guitars, which is fucking absurd to me. But so you got to
That's
put your
funny.
face, you got to
I
put
wouldn't
your
make that guy
handsome
any guitars.
face next to the microphone. You got to talk louder or put your face next to the microphone because I can't hear
Oh
you.
yeah, I'm just using the onboard on the phone, so
Okay, so why the fuck do you think it's fun to go camp in the middle of the woods when it's balls cold outside?
just to see if you can do it. And then once you
Okay,
do it, you're like, hey, this is kind of awesome, and you just like go back.
you're like fuck it. So, like,
Yeah.
what kind of preparation do you have to do? Because it's cold as shit. Like, I don't even like going outside to warm my truck up. And you're like, I'm gonna go do this for 4 days because it's fun.
So you got to have a hot tent, which is basically a tent that's made out of like a flame retardant material, and then it's got a hole in it for stovepipe, and you can put a wood stove right in that bad boy and fire it up, and you're good to go, man.
You don't got
Stays
to worry
nice and
about falling
toasty.
asleep and catching on fire. Like a little coal from the sap of the wood won't pop and land on your nutsack when you're sleeping and burn you like a Salem witch or what?
Well, I got a enclosed metal stove, but I'm sure something might pop out of there. It's possible, but
Every
nah.
once in a while. That's probably why you don't bring young children in the middle of the woods to camp in the winter because, for one, it's weird, and for two, it's dangerous.
Well, I haven't camped like in the middle of the woods, but I've been to the campgrounds, and I have brought my nephews out there in the winter, man, and they loved it. They had a
That's cool.
blast. They all came back with all their fingers and everything.
All their fingers were attached.
Yep.
Everybody's good.
Swinging
like,
hatchets
all right,
around. And, yeah.
I brought 4 kids in. I brought 4 kids out. Uncle of the year, baby. That's a fucking name, man. That's awesome. So let's get fucking ridiculous with the dumb questions. Have you or have you not seen a Sasquatch?
Dude, I wish. I wish I've
Right?
seen one. I've been looking, but I don't know. I've seen some guys that are pretty gnarly looking out there, but I avoid them. I haven't seen any Sasquatches though.
I don't believe in him anyway.
Oh, whatever. My daughter goes to camp and for the first time she's gonna go way, way deep in Wisconsin. And my daughter's 12 and she's like, Dad, they're gonna make me like dig a hole to poop. And like we can't have our phones for 4 days. And they can't shower for like 4 days. And I'm like, well, I kind of wish I knew this shit before I paid for it, but I already paid for it. So you got to go, dude. Like, you got to go.
Yeah, they call it a cat hole.
A cat hole?
Yeah, they call it a cat hole when you got to dig a hole to poop in it.
Yeah.
That makes sense. They should call it like a Alice in Chains hole because I'm the cat in the box. You know, like,
Hey, bro, hold on a second.
I bet he has a kitty somewhere.
There's a cat in a box for you.
Oh my God, is it dead?
No, it's a little
It's
mad.
like the cat's just chilling there in the box.
That's what the cat thinks
Yeah.
of our podcast. He's just taking a shit.
Wow, that's so random.
So, have you ever felt unsafe when you go camping, Dave? Have you ever felt that you weren't safe at all? Like, oh, there's a bear or a fox or a fucking dolphin in the trees.
All right, so that's an interesting question because I've camped up in the Smoky Mountains in Tennessee where there's plenty of black bears all around, and I've also camped at Rock Cut in Rockford, Illinois, and I think I was more worried at Rock Cut
Because of the homeless people?
just because weirdos and people. Yeah. In the wintertime, there's not a lot of other campers out there. So you might be the only one out there and you got to go to sleep. And I've seen some weird looking dudes out there. So,
Like weirder looking than you?
uh,
I'm kidding. Dave is
prob-
an amazing guy. He's been married to the same girl since he was
probably.
like fucking 10 years old. He's an amazing dude. I love Dave Hogan. I'm just busting his balls and I'm totally joking. He's an amazing, amazing guy and I love him with all my heart. But there was this story you told me about. You were camping one time and a car pulled up like in the middle of the night and the dude got out and went into the fucking porta potty. And like you saw a
Yeah,
car pull up,
the
a guy gets
fall-ins.
out of the car drives away, a guy goes into the porta potty, and you're like, that's fucking weird. Like, why'd the car leave him? And then the next morning, like the car pulls up again and the guy comes out of the porta potty and it picks him up. Like, is that kind of right? Like, tell
Yeah.
the story because I'm sure you could tell it better than I just did.
I mean, that's basically what it was. But like, I got up in the morning, I seen this shit happen at like midnight and I was kind of nervous about it. And eventually I fell asleep. And then I get up in the morning and I go to take a shit and I go down there and the door's locked. And I'm like, all right, somebody's in there. So I keep going back like every 10 minutes. So I got to take a shit and I don't want to dig a cat hole, you know? So
Right.
finally, that same car comes back and the dude comes out of there. So he spent the night in there in a freaking the don't fall ins bathrooms and was like 20 yards away from my tent.
Now, I want to ask our listeners right now, for everybody that's watching, can you think of a reason why an individual would get dropped off in the middle of the night in a fucking park to sleep in a fucking porta potty? Like, why would you do it?
Exactly.
Why would that person do it? Like, were they hiding from something or were they just like, hey, dude, my old lady kicked me out. Can you pick me up? Yeah, man, I'll pick you up, but you're not sleeping on my fucking couch. Well, you know, like, you got money for a hotel room? No, man, but I know where this porta potty is. Just drop me off there and pick me up at 8 o'clock. I got to be at work the next day. Like, that's the only thing that I could think of. But please, listeners,
Yeah,
tell
it's
me in
weird.
the comment section right now. We will bring up your comment. Why do you think somebody would do that in the middle of the night? It's so weird. What day of the week was it? Do you remember?
It was on a weekend. Yeah,
It was on a
it was on the
weekend?
weekend, but it was in the winter. So it was really cold out.
In the winter? Fuck that.
And it was really weird that the same car came back the next day. Like I could see
Yeah.
if somebody just dropped him off, like he's like, hey, can I get a ride or whatever? But then the same dude, is that just like your buddy? And he's like, you're not sleeping in my house, but I'll take you over to the park and you can sleep
Yeah,
there.
like,
Pick you back up.
dude, if I love
Like
you
what?
enough, if I care about my friend enough to pick him up in the middle of the night because he's having a rough time, I'm not just gonna drop him off in the woods and be like, all right, I'll pick you up in the morning. Like, I'm at least gonna let him sleep on the couch, you know, or like in the shed. Like, why not the shed? Like, all right, fine, dude. My wife can't know that you're here because she fucking hates you, and we all know you're a douchebag, but you can sleep in the shed or sleep in the bush. Like, I'm not gonna drop you off in a toilet. Like, who the fuck
Yeah.
does that? That is so strange.
So what's crazy is we're talking about porta johns in Iraq on some of the cops and stuff, which is a combat outpost. It's like 140 degrees, and like these porta johns don't get changed regular, and it smells like pure shit death. And when you jump out of the truck, you're on the cop like doing like a run through and a stop by, and you're like kitted out in like 80 pounds, and you have to shit in one of those. Oh my god.
Dude, I've seen videos. What do
That's
they call them?
amazing.
Like the MREs, the
Yeah.
packages that you guys eat. Like those can't be well in the digestive system. And I've seen videos of people being like, "Cover me," and then like they just go drop trout and just shit in the sand, and their homies are like fucking surrounding him like a pack of dogs, like making sure he doesn't get killed while he's just
Yeah, like
runny water poo coming out of his ass.
fucking the MREs to me, they stop you up. They're like full of like 2,000 something calories per fucking
Yeah.
pack. They stop me up, dude. Like we eat them in the field. They tried to force us to eat it in Iraq, but I was eating other shit. But yeah, dude, like it stops me up. Like I can't shit for like a week. I don't know what
Fuck
it
that.
is. Some people
I-
eat it and they shit their asses off, but another Porter John joke, or not a joke, but story. Long time ago when I was a wee little private in the army, I was with a group of people. We were coming back from the bar. We're hammered, and we took a cab back to the barracks, and fucking 3 of my buddies, I don't know, I was passing out in the back from what I recall. We got stopped at the barracks and they fucking they just like dashed, didn't even pay the fucking cab, dude. Like they just ran the fuck out. We're all drunk. So I'm delayed and I'm like I panicked. So I ran and dipped in a fucking Porter John where their construction was at in the site. I passed out. The MPs got called. Those 3 got caught, and I didn't get caught. I wake up and like just reeking of shit and piss, but I didn't get arrested though.
And look at you now, like you're an MP now. Like now
Yeah.
you're a military police officer. Like, it's
Well, I
so
was an
fucking
MP
funny.
doing that shit.
Oh, that's fucking hysterical.
Well, I mean,
Tell-
you know, you're young and dumb, dude. Soldiers do stupid shit.
No, I know. Tell David Hogan here and our new audience about the time that you were on lunch and you put your Fritos in your bologna sandwich and you're like, hell yeah. Then you got this dude drove by at like 90 miles an hour and you fucking chased him down and beat him up or something.
Oh,
You know what the story I'm talking about?
yeah,
I
that
know I'm
was
exaggerating, but tell the
no.
people what happened.
So this dude was from Wisconsin, and he was
Imagine
down.
that.
Yeah, he was down visiting his nephew, or it was his sister's boyfriend, which was the serviceman. Anyway, they were down visiting. So he gets in like 4 hit and runs off post, gets on post, hits a guy on a motorcycle, and when I say hit, I mean with the vehicle. So all this shit unravels, and my area was like area 1, so all this shit is happening on the other side of post. And I made a promise to myself that day. I was like, I'm not doing no fucking paperwork. Like I want to go home. I'm tired. I just want to fucking rest. So it was all happening in the other areas. I was like, if the motherfucker comes down to my side where my area is, then obviously I have to act on it. So where Darren's getting the food at, I just got my fucking sandwich. It was one of those pack of like already pre-made sandwiches. And the only way you can get them to taste really good is if you stuff them with fucking Doritos, because I don't know, they taste weird. So like, I'm sitting here, I'm enjoying it. I'm hearing the radio going off, and I'm like, please do not come my way. I'm eating, I'm chilling, I'm almost off shift. Lo and behold, like he's coming down my way. There's like 8 MP cars. Like you could just see it coming over the hill, and it looked like an OJ Simpson when he was getting chased by the cops. It looked like that shit. And I was like, oh fuck, it is in my area. He comes up doing like over 100 miles an hour, and I take the opposite side of the traffic. I made sure everybody was off the road. I cleared the intersection. He come like a fucking cunt hair from hitting me. And all I could see before this accident was about to happen was just VA percentages. I was like, I'm about to get paid by the VA. Like, this is going to hurt. I'm going to probably break my back and get some sort of percentage. You know, that's the way you think when you're like, this is it. This is how it ends. At least maybe I get paid.
Yeah, you're on the job. You're at work.
Yeah,
man.
dude.
Like,
And
don't let
VA is
people
going to
like
pay
get
for
that
this
fucked
shit.
up.
Yeah.
Right.
So he miraculously stopped. So like game mode, I got in and I blacked out. I don't remember opening the door. I don't remember pulling my weapon. I don't remember pointing it at his face. But it was all on body cam. I got him out. I was cussing him, and like the strength that I had, because I was blacked out. Like I knew what I was doing, but you know what I'm talking. You ever got in a fight and you know what you're doing, but everything around you is like there's just nothing.
It comes back to you after the fact. You're
Yeah,
like,
so
oh yeah.
I grabbed him, I picked him up. I remember it with one hand, slid him out, gun in his face. Uh, I'm yelling at him, I'm cussing at him. He ended up having a warrant out of Wisconsin. So I pick him up, put him on the curb. My buddy Cooper, you've talked to Cooper.
Yeah, I definitely have.
He was my backup. He was the traffic unit. He shows up. He's tearing apart the car, looking for stuff because at this point it's all out the window. Like
This guy's gotta be on
yeah,
drugs. Like, why is he
yeah.
doing
Like we're
this?
searching the car and I'm walking back towards the back of the car and I hear him talking and I'm like, Cooper, I was like, who the fuck are you talking to? And he turns and does like that and there's a kid in the middle of the truck, like a 4-year-old kid in a car seat.
I forgot about this part of the story. There was a kid in the fucking car where the
Yeah,
dude
dude.
was
Could you
fucking
imagine
being a maniac.
had he had gunned it?
That's
Because
so
at
strange
the
that I forgot about that. That's a
yeah,
big part of the story. That's
had he had
fucking
gunned
nuts.
it at me, I'd have shot him because it's deadly force. He's trying to run me over. I'd have put
Right.
bullets in it, but
And there's a fucking little
I would have killed that
baby
kid.
back there. Yeah,
I
4
I
years
know I
old,
would have
right?
killed the kid. I would have shot that whole cab up because I'm going home. Well, that fucking pissed me off more. So I went back over to him on the curb. I remember grabbing him and picking him up while he's in handcuffs, and I literally I picked him up and toted him to the car. I was like, uh,
And
threw
then you
him in
pulled his
there.
pants down and raped the shit out of him, right?
Yeah, I fucked him with the long dick of the law. Right.
No, but
But
I
no, that's the
remember.
story, man. Like I was so fucking pissed.
I know, I'm kidding.
It goes back to that simple fact that I didn't get to finish my fucking sandwich. I didn't get fucking hurt. I couldn't get VA percentages off of it. I had all the fucking paperwork. I stayed till like 9 o'clock that night. I was supposed to get off at 1 o'clock in the afternoon that day. So yeah, it fucking with Audie Marsh, it rains pussy and I get hit with dicks. That's my
There-
fucking luck.
Speaking of like blacking out and fights and stuff, we don't have to go in detail because I know David Hogan probably don't want to talk about it, but David Hogan is no hoe either. And like we play rock shows and stuff, and there was this occasion where a Hell's Angel came into a spot and was fucking with him, and Dave Hogan whooped his ass, and all of his homies stood around and watched. Like nobody jumped in, and this is a Hell's Angel. Like these people are nobody to fuck with. And Dave Hogan just fucking splat, 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 punched this dude in the fucking face multiple times. And then eventually, I think his crew was trying to test him to see if he was bad enough. And like this random dude at a bar just kicked the shit out of him. And they finally stepped in and was like, all right, that's enough. And I hope they kicked him out of the gang the next day because Dave Hogan is just like, I just came here to play guitar, man. And like, I got to beat up a fucking motorcycle guy. Like, this is bullshit.
I
he
hate
doesn't
fighting,
know,
dude.
you-
That shit hurts.
He
We
was.
can
he
talk
wasn't
about it
a
if you
Hell's
want,
Angel,
Dave.
though.
He was a prospect, right?
He wasn't a Hell's Angel though. Don't get
Oh,
me
he was
beat
an
up.
invade. He was an invader,
Yeah, it was
right?
more of a local thing, crew.
Yeah, he was
But
an invader, but he was a prospect, right?
yeah, he was a prospect.
Yeah. So, like, I think they were testing him, and they were like, "All right, cool. Let's fucking watch this guy get into a fight with the guy that plays guitar in the band, and the fucking guy playing guitar in the band beat the fuck out of him in the park, and they're like, you can't be in the gang anymore. Like, you gotta fucking like call your mom for a ride, bitch ass. It's fucking funny.
Yeah, he was harsh to my buzz. So
Fuck
Mm.
them. So, speaking of band stuff, Dave Hogan, I seen this Facebook post the other day, and I'm going to read this verbatim, and I think that you could probably appreciate this. For those that don't know, Dave Hogan and I make music together. We have for several years. He's one of my best fucking friends. And in the past, Audie and I had this band on our podcast, and they were called Lydia's Castle. And the drummer of their band is the drummer of Stained. And their bass player, Corey Scott England, really cool fucking dude. Very talented kid. This was a Facebook post that he made on May 13th of this year, and when I read this, I was just like, "Holy shit! Like this really fucking makes a lot of sense to me." So I just want to read it verbatim, and let's fucking discuss it. Corey said, "The subject came up on the bus today. I've said it before to bands who didn't listen and aren't getting anywhere, and I'll say it again here. Band practice and rehearsal is a waste of time if your songs aren't finished and your shows aren't booked. Jamming with your buddies is one thing, having writing sessions with your bandmates is important, but another thing, if you're trying to rehearse or practice songs that aren't finished pre or post studio, especially in more progressive music, you're wasting your time. Production arrangements come first. Then you get in a room and get it tight. Then you play shows. Gotta walk before you can run, nerds. Being in a band isn't just loose fun if you're serious about it. You gotta learn the process and listen to people you meet, play with, who've been doing it longer, that share insight. If you want to jam with your buddies, do that. If you want to be serious, get fucking serious and don't waste the time of those involved in the endeavor." That's from the bass player of Lydia's Castle. What do you think about that?
I agree with most of that. Yeah. Especially in times now where everything is, you can use technology to accomplish a lot more at home and be more prepared to present those ideas to your bandmates. Where, when Johnny Cash was around, they had to get together and jam. That's really all they could do. And so I
Did
think,
live recordings and shit. Like,
I think that's a valid point.
yeah, it's weird that I saved it. This was in May, and I saved it probably because it reminds me of the conversations that you and I have had, and because I've never showed up to band practice. I'm like, fuck that shit's fucking lame. But yeah, I hope you don't think that I put you on the spot or anything, but like
No.
because no, Dave Hogan agrees with the most of the shit that I say when it comes to practice and being in bands. That's why do you think him and I are in a band together and we don't have other bandmates? It's just him and I because we're like, fuck everybody else. We can do this by ourselves. So I just thought it was a fucking cool thing to bring up. And another reason to tie in an old episode. That's all.
Yeah, and you, like, when we were in bands, you would come to the practices that were us getting ready for shows,
Right.
like rehearsing our sets for a show.
Yeah.
You would come to that, but like it was the writing stuff that you don't want to be there for that. And so I guess like you have the same kind of strategy as what he was saying.
Yeah, it made sense. Yeah, it just made sense to me. So let's move on. I found an article from a newspaper from Rockford, Illinois, where Dave Hogan and I are from 1955, and I want to read this fucking article because it's super fucking sweet. But before I read it, I'm going to do my little sample, and I'm gonna ask you guys: do you guys believe in aliens? I know Audie doesn't. Fuck him. I hate him. David Hogan, do you believe in aliens?
No.
I didn't ask you, you fucking
Like
scumbag.
I'm answering for him.
99%, yeah, I do.
Fuck.
You believe in aliens?
Damn it.
All right, hold on one second.
How dare you?
Get another beer. You want one? Yeah, sure. I'll be right back.
Aliens are not real, bro. Like Darren's not
No.
here. You can tell me. Don't fucking lie.
I don't know. I think they are, man.
All right, so I don't want to like when I did my here's the thing, like we got to be careful here. We got to tread lightly because when I did my interview with ABC Nightline about the Idaho 4 and Brent, it wasn't really about the Idaho 4, it was about Brent and how fucking people are trying to fucking make me out to be a murderer and shit. They showed this other fucking shitty podcast called I don't know. They were called something super
Turkey
fucking
Drunks or
lame.
some
Shut
shit?
up. I don't want to fucking give them free promotion. I think they're called We Eat Shit on a Farm from Turkeys. Something along those lines. We eat turkey poo or something. But they did a really good job at showing how they circle jerk and their jerk offs. And they showed a one clip of this one dude being like, "I think aliens have been here forever," and like, you got to be careful. You got to tread lightly because people can take sound bites and shit and fuck it up. But like, I want to talk about aliens here for a second, and I don't want to sound like a fucking jerk off. But anyway, so like, it's funny that I found this article from 1950 fucking 5
Mm.
in
Another old
April.
article.
April 19th. Shut the fuck
Another
up,
old
Audie
article.
Marsh. Motherfucker, when I talk about beating up people, you're the first on the list.
Bring me something new, bro. Bring a new article in.
I just want to say it's from my town. Like, I know, yeah, fucking aliens. I know, I get it. They're fucking goofy.
Aliens,
They're not, they may or may
1936.
not be like Oumuamua. When I brought up Oumuamua, you're like, oh, it's not real. Like, bring up something recent. Bitch, I brought up Oumuamua, and you're like, nope, not
How
real.
recent was that?
I don't know, a year or two ago?
No.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue with your old ass bullshit.
I'm going to. You know why? Because I am the host / co-host of this podcast, and I can pretty much talk about whatever I want. So I'm gonna talk about aliens. So this is the only reason why I brought it up is because it's from the area that David Hogan and I live in. So this is a newspaper article from April of 1955. So it's just weird because I've never heard about alien sightings from our town. It's always from fucking Roswell or Arizona or Alaska or Montana or some crazy shit. And it's like, I had to go back to 1955 to find a goddamn UFO sighting that was legit, like where the cops were involved in everything. But I had to go back to 1955, which, by the way, is the greatest decade of all time. And if I could be alive in any decade, it would definitely be in the 50s because the cars were cooler, the music were cooler, and the women were beautiful. So,
68 years ago.
Audie, I hate you. So I'm just kidding. So on April 8th, 1955, there were 4 businessmen who were GOC members that were on watch at their post. At approximately 9:30 a.m., they all saw a silver disc-shaped object come from behind a jet interceptor and past it at a high speed. After witnessing the UFO, they contacted the filter center in Chicago. Within minutes of the report, jets from the O'Hare Field and Park Ridge were sent on an intercept mission. The object was located between Rockford and Cherry Valley. It was described as a silver disc-shaped object that was a 1/4 mile in diameter. When they located the object, they fired upon the UFO, missing the UFO and hitting a weather balloon. I think that's a lie. There was an explosion. Just prior to the explosion, a smaller round object shot out of the side of the parent device, then in horizontal flight, passed up the jets, after which it was seen to turn on edge and disappear straight up into the sky, going from southeast to northwest. John C. Gregory, the civil defense director from Rockford, Illinois, reported the object was a 1/4 mile in diameter. He watched the show from atop an old City Hall building after he had received a report from a Rockford resident who saw the same display. Air Force personnel moved in quickly and warned the GOC members to say nothing about the incident. Civil defense chief of the area did report the firing to the local press, who in turn explained away the affair by stating that jets had fired on a balloon. The Rockford Register editor was told that the pilots had fired on a weather balloon which had been launched from Minneapolis. There was no mention of the mysterious object which had streaked past the fighters, nor was there any explanation for this amazing attack on a weather balloon over a populated area. Kehoe said that Captain White insisted that the Air Force had no knowledge of such an incident and that its jets would never endanger lives by firing on weather balloons. When I heard this answer, I was positive that White had been ordered to deny attacks on saucers, for the evidence in the Rockford case was impossible to dismiss. This brings many questions to mind. In the first place, we question the target being a balloon for the following reasons. 1, the jets were scrambled to intercept an unidentified flying objects, thus ruling out any prearranged engagement. Number 2, jets are not permitted to fire on meteorological balloons. Number 3, jets are not permitted to fire on practice or random targets in or near residential areas. So fuck you. That's a real report from 1955. They don't fucking just send out. What did you just fucking say under your breath?
68 years ago.
I don't care. They don't just send out. You know how expensive it is to send out fucking jets? They don't do it just for the fuck of it. And they're not allowed to shoot on something that they think is a weather balloon, especially over a residential area. This was a real thing that happened in Rockford, Illinois in 1955. And I think it was aliens. It wasn't fucking the Germans. You know what I mean? We killed all those motherfuckers a long time ago.
I can't wrap my head around it, man.
You believe in ghosts, but you don't believe in aliens.
Yes, ghosts. There is more logical.
David Hogan is gonna yell at
I've
you
seen
because
fucking ghosts, and I've experienced their
well,
shit.
David Hogan hasn't seen any ghosts, and I brought him on 2 fucking separate locations, and he didn't.
Yeah,
see
but
shit,
there is
and he's mad at me for it.
facts in a sense that they still they exist. Aliens, it's fucking articles from the 50s and 60s and
Oh,
bullshit.
fucking bullshit.
All that bullshit.
The Pentagon fucking dropped, and they straight up said that UFOs are real, Daddy-o.
We've already went down this rabbit hole. I said, do you
Yeah,
trust
but now we
the
got
government?
David Hogan to talk about
Do
it.
you trust the government?
Man, it depends.
My point exactly.
It depends on what it is. Like,
Do you trust the government enough? They're gonna drop some bullshit like that. The government will do whatever they want. I've seen it
and I'm
firsthand.
you know what? All right, fine. I'm gonna
Do
tell
you
the government.
believe that shit they dropped is real? Because if that's the case, then you believe in a lot of shit in a sense of what they do.
No, that not necessarily. You could believe in one thing and not the other. You don't
But
have
it's
to
the government,
100.
bro.
Yeah, but you don't have to 100% believe in everything that they do. You can believe in some of the shit, just like being a fucking. Hold on, man. Like, to me, there's no right or left or Republican, Democrat shit. It's like you don't have to believe in everything. Like me, like there's some things that the Republicans are into that I'm like, hell yeah. And there's some of the shit that the Democrats are into. It's like, I don't have to be 100%.
No, I get it.
So I don't have to 100% think that the government, like, I don't have to 100% believe that. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So
but
that's not fair to say.
No, I get what you're saying, but what I'm trying to tell you is
that you're gay and you're a homosexual deviant and you kiss dudes and you don't believe in aliens. I could talk over you too.
All the bullshit that the government puts out, the one fucking thing that you fucking believe the most. Oh, they put out aliens. The fucking Pentagon put it out, so it must be fucking true.
I think no, that's not. I believe that aliens were real way before the Pentagon did it. Way before that. I just think that now they're starting to do the disclosure thing. And I think for the last 70 years, ever since the Roswell incident, I think that they've been trying to figure out a way to tell the public that aliens are real. And I think that now they're like, fuck it, let's go. And I think that's why a lot of things are in the media because it's like, look over here while I fuck you over here. And I think they're starting to do disclosure because they want the public to know about aliens. And I think that it's always been real, not just because the fucking Pentagon released it a few years ago. But anyway, I'd like David is sitting here fucking silent. I want to bring him in. He's probably like, why did I even come on this podcast? Because I'm not talking. So we got to hear fucking.
I couldn't get it to work again.
So Dave, if you could, would you have sex with an alien, and how many titties do they have to have?
A Twi'lek.
A Twi'lek? Is that
a Twi'lek?
Is that an? What is that? Is that an amount
Star
of boobs?
Wars reference. Sorry.
Oh goddamn Star Wars!
I don't know. Maybe.
You think aliens are real or no?
Yeah, I think they're real.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that story sounds insane to me, and I don't know if I believe that story.
You can't believe them all. You know, you can't believe every story and every conspiracy theory.
Like in Indiana, like you said, if the one thing was shot from Indianapolis, I know there's some decommissioned missile bases from like the Cold War era there. They might have been doing some kind of like exercise or something with that, you know?
I think a lot of the stuff definitely could be that. Like what if we have this crazy technology and we don't want the whole world to know about it because the whoever has the best technology wins the war. And we all know that this whole fucking world is about war. We got to have the biggest dick in war. So if we have these crazy fucking crafts that can go from here to there without killing the pilot and things like that, we're not going to fucking tell the world like, yeah, we got them, because then the other countries are going to want to come over here and try to bomb us and kill us and take our shit. So it's like, what if we are testing these aircrafts that we have, and then we're just like, oh no, man, it must be aliens. Like maybe our technology is getting so good to the point to where we have these badass weapons and we're just sitting on them and waiting in case we got to use them. And like, we're not going to fucking tell everybody, you know, like, and then if they're caught on camera, it's like, oh no, it must be aliens. Just like the fucking atomic bomb, dude. That was a whole fucking secret thing forever. You know what I mean? And then we just fucking dropped it one day, and the whole world was like, oh, fuck. And they didn't fuck with us ever again, ever since then. You know what I mean? We could be ahead of our times.
I mean,
Huh?
what if it's both? Like, what if these are some of our aircraft that we're working on, but then where do we get that technology from?
Aliens, I think.
You know,
I think
Maybe
it's from
both.
aliens. Like the Germans had this weapon called the Glocke, and it's German for the bell. And I know this is all fucking crazy bullshit, but it's more believable than me being involved with Idaho 4. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's this theory that there was a UFO that crashed in Germany, and then they like reversed fucking analyzed all the fucking technology, and then like they created this weapon called the Glocke. And a lot of people think that the Germans ended up like piecing out to Argentina. And some of the Germans are like still in Argentina. Like you can go to Argentina and see Nazi buildings. Like there's buildings in Argentina with swastikas on them. And there's like a
also a city in the Amazon.
LA.
Yeah.
Well, there's one in LA too in America. What were you saying in the Amazon?
There's one in the Amazon too in South America that's like all Nazi people living there.
Yeah, and they're like they all speak like fluent ass German. Like I think the Nazis took off and we didn't get them all. And I don't think Hitler died that day. And I'm not trying to fucking sound like this fucking crazy person, but I think he got away. And I think that even if he didn't, a lot of Germans fucking pieced out. And I think a lot of it has to do with because of they might have reversed engineered some fucking technology that crashed in Germany at one point. Have you heard have you heard about Operation High Jump? Do either one of you know about this? If Audie keeps looking at his phone, then Frank from Unresolved Crimes is going to come on here and say that Audie's a fucking piece of shit.
No, I'm
and
just
all he does is fucking
debunking
look
all
at his
your
phone.
alien shit.
You're not going to debunk anything,
Telling you,
motherfucker.
dude.
So Operation High Jump. Have you guys ever heard about this? But first of all, I want to address our little Scara because I like her very much, and I'm glad that she watches us all the time. She says, I don't know, Edward Snowden had the keys of the kingdom, and he said he searched everywhere looking for evidence of aliens and couldn't find anything. All right, but that may be true. I don't know. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Edward Snowden was the dude that like he's the one who figured out that they can hack into our fucking cameras and shit. I don't think he had any access to fucking aliens and shit because even the president doesn't have that. Like when Bill Clinton was in office, he was like, the first thing he did was like, let me know about the aliens. And it's like the president is a fucking, if you think about it, he's a seasonal employee. He's a part-time employee. He's only allowed to work there for 4 years, 8 if he's lucky. So when the president is like, I want to know about aliens, they're like, you're not even fucking cool enough to know about that. And I don't think the Snowden guy would be able to have access to the alien shit either. I think the only ones that really, really know about the aliens is our military, the military industrial complex. Those are the ones that know about the fucking aliens and shit. But anyway, Operation High Jump was a real thing that Admiral Byrd did. This was a real operation. This really fucking happened. This isn't fake. It's not a science fucking fiction movie. We sent a bunch of our motherfuckers to Alaska and we were looking for Nazis because we thought that they fucking escaped Germany and they went to fucking, or not Alaska, I'm sorry, Antarctica. And we went down there and we all came back with our fucking tails tucked between our legs. Like Vietnam War, we lost, and fucking whatever the secret operation was, Operation High Jump. When we went to fucking Antarctica, we came back with our tails tucked between our legs. And they said straight up that saucers, flying discs, came out of the water and they had fucking swastikas on them. And they fucking shot our fucking shit down. Pew, 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 pew. And we fucking came back to America and we're like, yo, we're never going back there again. And that's why we haven't been back to fucking Antarctica. This is a real thing. Look it up. It's called Operation High Jump. It's a real fucking thing. Fuck you if you don't believe in aliens.
I don't believe
I'm
that
just
story either.
All right. So, like, you don't have to. That's fine. But I want to jump into a story here about me real quick because I was asking Dave Hogan, please tell the world why you don't think that I was involved with the Idaho 4. Let's hop on that.
Because I've pissed you off pretty bad, like more than once, and I'm still here.
Right? Like, if you, as mad as you made me, don't you think I would have killed you first?
Yeah, I'm still alive. Shit.
No. But all jokes aside, it's like, I did want to ask, I told David Hogan, I'm like, I'm going to bring you on eventually. I'm going to ask you, like, why do you not think? Because everybody knows me from the guy who's defending Brent, and people know Audie for defending me, and like now that you're here, you're one of my best friends as well, and like so let's fucking give you the fucking microphone and let you fucking tell all these fucking people watching, like, why do you not think I was involved in the Idaho 4?
Yeah, for me, it's easy, man. Just knowing you for so long, I know your personality. I know you're not a freaking psychopath. I know you got a heart. You're a good family man. You take care of your family, your kids. You love your pets, and that's not a killer. That's not how killers are. Though they're cold, people usually. So unless you're talking about BTK, but
Oh, I hate that piece of shit.
but
He's such a scumbag.
I think that's kind of one of my takeaways from this whole thing is it's taught me, now that I've been on the inside looking out at all these people accusing you and pointing at these things they consider hints or whatever. And I'm like, no way, it's not even close. It taught me to not be so judgmental about other things I might see on YouTube, about people who I don't know, because it's easy to jump into that. Well, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. You can get on that chain and then think things. And going through this, I realized that a lot of times people are just jumping to conclusions,
No, that makes a lot of sense because, like, I remember, like, when Sandy Hook happened, and I watched videos and, like, videos of people saying that Sandy Hook never happened, it was fake, and the Boston bombings were fake, and the Aurora, Colorado shooting was fake, and I started to get down that thing, and then I saw the flat earth thing, and I'm like, "What if the flat earth's real?" And I'm like, "Hold on, wait a minute," like, then I started realizing, these people are fucking crazy. They're just talking a bunch of mad shit. But
I think a lot of them just fucking they assume shit on camera, but when they go
well,
home or when they turn the shit off, they're like,
yeah,
I
it's
know
easy to do a one-sided narrative, and I'm just thank you, Dave, for coming on here. And I know that wasn't the point of the show, but I do want people, because we have a lot of new listeners, and I do want to bring in another person from my life that knows me and is like, this fucking guy would never
Absolutely.
fucking kill anybody. You know what I mean? Like, I did see you, I think, I don't know whose YouTube video it was on. I don't know if it was Drip Drops or whoever, but you commented and you're like, I've been to this guy's house so many times and I hang out with his kids. I pet his dogs. Like, I know this dude. Like, he's basically the shit. Like fucking man, I can't believe that you think this. Little Scara says, The insanity of assuming there's a connection just because the suspect drove by his Brent's apartment building, along with hundreds of others, right, on the way to the crime scene blows my mind.
So what
I
she
don't
say?
even. What she's saying is like people are saying that Brian Koberger drove by Brent's apartment building. I don't know how true that is because like I said I don't follow this case. I don't know anything about it. I don't watch any documentaries or the YouTube things, but like yeah, a lot of people do say that I think that Brian Koberger drove past Brent's apartment and some people say that he picked him up and shit like that and it's like, well then fucking prove it to me, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. I kind of don't want to talk about the Idaho 4 thing because we've always said that we wouldn't, and the only reason why it's relevant now is because people have brought me into the news, but and I do apologize, Dave, for putting you on the spot and being like, "Hey, tell everybody why I'm not a killer." I didn't pay him to do that. He's one of my best fucking friends, and I hang out with him all the time, and I just wanted the
Good any
audience
day,
to
man.
see another person be like, "Yeah, dude, I know this guy."
Yeah, I'd vouch for you any day, bro.
No, I
And,
know.
and I'll fall asleep at your house too, and not even worry about it.
No, exactly. Like it's just fucking crazy to me. Like, all right, so Dave Hogan's been to my house a million fucking times, and it's like, you see like spooky stuff on the walls, but have you ever seen like, I don't know, dead animals or like bloody knives or fucking like have you ever felt like I'm not spending the night here? This is fucking weird, you know what I mean? Like
Definitely
it's just
not. No,
crazy.
I haven't found the room yet. I guess.
Oh, the room, my secret
Yeah,
room
you
with
chop
all
all
the
your stuff
fucking
up or whatever.
yeah, yeah. You're the one that goes fucking hunting and fucking camping. I think you did it. I didn't even know what a K-bar was until David Hogan told me. We were smoking a cigarette in my garage and he was showing me this badass knife that he made. And
Yeah,
he's
must have
like,
been me.
yeah, he's like, look at this knife. And I'm like, holy fuck, you made that? And he's like, yeah, he's like, it's kind of like a K-bar, but way stronger. And I'm like, what's a K-bar? And he's like, really? You don't know what a K-bar was? It was the knife that fucking all those kids got killed with in Idaho. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Idaho? Like there was kids that was killed in Idaho? And he's like, yeah. And then fucking next day I'm in the news. It's all bullshit. Fucking Dave Hogan started this whole fucking thing.
The funny
It's
thing
all his
is,
fault.
yeah, the funny thing is that's literally all a K-bar is good for is stabbing things.
Yeah, I mean it's not like the way the blade sits into the handle, it's not made to like chop down a fucking tree, right? Like it's a killing like a K-bar is a weapon,
Yeah,
yes?
it's a
Like can we
combat
say that?
weapon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a weapon. So like to me, a machete is a tool. And you brought a
right.
really good point up, Dave. Like you told me a couple days ago, like you can go to any Walmart basically, and they have like 7 to 8 different kinds of machetes, and they're all sold out.
Yeah.
That's because everybody has a machete,
Yep.
and people buy machetes as tools. It's not a fucking weapon. But a K-bar is a weapon.
It's a weapon.
The military, when you sign up for the army, they don't give you hammers. They don't give you hacksaws. They don't give you real tools. They give you a weapon, and it's a K-bar. But please correct me if I'm wrong and be like, no, dude, you're fucking full of shit. You don't, like, I don't know. Maybe I said what I said wasn't that correct, but
No, I think Audie he's probably know a lot about the K-bar, or at least similar knives. But yeah, the military likes to have things that are designed for a specific purpose, and a lot of times they're considered disposable, like expendable, so it's
yeah,
not designed to last your whole lifetime. But it's
right. It's
literally
not
made to be a weapon.
Audie Marsh. When you joined the army, were you issued a K-bar knife?
No,
No,
no, they issue Gerbers with knives on it.
Yeah, is it the Marine
Gerbers.
Corps?
Yeah.
Mm,
So
That's funny that you bring that up because the machete that I have, the brand is Gerber. So is Gerber a brand or is it a type
yeah,
of knife or what? Because the machete that I have, the sheath on it is a Gerber, and that's the
Yeah.
one that I handed to the lady that did all the fucking interviews and shit with. I still have it in my possession. If you think it's part of the murder weapon, please call the FBI on me. Whatever, they'll fucking come and talk to me, and I'll fucking show them the knife. But
So
they give
like
the
the
army a
Gerber,
Gerber.
yeah. So it's like a multi-tool, but the brand is Gerber.
Okay.
You do, depending if you deploy. I got issued a battle axe. We called it a battle axe, and I can't recall if it was a Gerber brand or a K-Bar. But certain aspects, depending on where you deploy, they do supply uh, certain knives and such for where you're going.
Okay.
Uh,
That makes sense.
but
Like if
most
you're in the jungle, they'd probably give you a machete, to hack down
yeah,
weeds and shit.
yeah,
Or like,
and
so would
literally,
a K-bar be for that as well, or no? What's a
so
K-bar
if
used for?
so, a lot of soldiers buy the brand K-Bar because it's it's a thick blade on some
So
of them.
K-bar's a brand,
Yeah.
not a style of knife. Like just like Buck is a brand, right?
Mm-hmm. You
Like I
got
love the movie
Gerber.
Scream, and they use a Buck 120 in the movie. It's a Buck
Yes. So it's
120.
like there's Gerber, K-Bar, Buck.
Okay.
I think it's like, correct me if I'm wrong, Hogan,
Swiss Army knife.
Birkshaw or something like that. I can't remember the name of it,
So
but
these are brands. So K-bar is a brand, like McDonald's. It's not a style of a knife. It's a brand.
it's a brand.
It's a brand.
So does
but they're
K-bar make
famous.
machetes? Go ahead, Dave. You know way more about knives than I do. Go ahead,
Well,
tell me.
I think the reason why people come to calling the actual knife a K-bar is because that's what K-bar was famous for back
Mhm.
in the day, was making the military knives for the military.
Yeah. If I'm
Now
not
people just
mistaken,
call it a K-bar.
I think
the
the bayonets might be a K-Bar brand. They quit issuing those because
That's on the end of the rifle, yes? Like way
yeah.
back in the day?
No,
Because if you ran out of bullets, you could
they can
fucking
be
sticky
put
stab.
they can be put on the M4s too.
Jesus Christ.
People
Okay.
think the bayonets were these on the M1 Grand, but they are made, not the old ones obviously, but they got the newer uh bayonets that will fit, because we got issued bayonets, but
You did an OIF?
mhm,
Operation Iraqi Freedom?
yeah, we had
They gave you bayonets?
Mhm.
I thought bayonets was like a fucking Revolutionary
No.
War type thing. I didn't know they still did that.
So the theory is, if it comes down to the bayonet or your pistol, it's not good.
Right.
The fight's not good. But yeah, I'll have to find out. It may be a K-Bar brand on the bayonet. I can't remember. I just know it's large printed letters, product of the United States Army on it. I know that for a
Okay.
fact, but I don't know what the brand
Now,
was.
does the Marines issue a K-bar? Because with the Idaho 4 thing, the evidence that they have is they say that a sheath was left behind, and it was a sheath for United States Marine Corps K-bar knife is what I don't know. Like this is what
Yeah,
I'm hearing.
I'm
So like
sure.
does the Marine Corps issue K-bars as well or what?
So again, I'm sure they issue whatever equipment they need for what they're doing. You know what I mean? So yeah, they could possibly have that on their clothing record. Like the Gerber is on my clothing record. The bayonet is not on my clothing record because I turned it in. They made us turn those in.
Okay.
So yeah, they could possibly have some sort of knife weapon of that sort in their arsenal, depending on where they're going, where they've been, type of situation. It's mission dictated, really. Oh,
Just Amber asked a really good question that I want you to answer. I'm sure you don't fucking, like know off the top of your head because this isn't the type of thing that you do, but um hypothetically speaking, like could somebody kill 4 people with a K-bar knife? Like if they snuck into a house and people were asleep or whatever, like because a K-bar knife is how big? What, like 6 to 8 inches, 10? How big are they?
I think
How
the
big is
blade
the
is like
blade?
7 inches.
So it's a 7-inch blade.
it's really
Yeah, it's
thick.
So
too.
like, are they pretty thick? Like what, quarter inch?
Yeah.
The ones
less
I've
than-
seen.
So like a quarter inch thick blade.
Yep.
So just Amber is asking, like, could one person come into a house and fucking kill 4 people with a K-bar knife? I think how long were they in the house for? Like 14 minutes or something? Um, but I was thinking, like, with a knife that big, if you stab somebody, I don't see, this is the thing. Like, this is what's weird is, like, we don't know how many times these people were stabbed, where they were stabbed, or if they were like sliced or whatever. Like, we don't even know if they were shot or anything. There could be way more because,
Are they sleeping?
well, what I've heard, like what the media is saying, I believe that these 4 people were asleep in their house and somebody snuck into
Mm.
the house and killed them with a K-bar knife. But here's the thing: is like most of these kind of situations, the cops know way more than what they reveal. And that's how they bust people because they could be like, the shoe prints were fucking a size 12. And then if you're like, oh, my buddy has a fucking size 8 and he told me he was over there that night, and they'll be like, how do you know that fucking there was size 8 prints? Like shit like that. Like they do misinformation in the public, and then they also don't release stuff. So what they're telling us, as far as I know, is that 4 people were killed with a K-bar knife. That's what they're saying, and that there was a sheath left behind. And it was a United States Marine Corps sheath to a K-bar knife. And but the question was, is like, could somebody sneak into a house and kill 4 people who are probably probably drunk, because it's like 4 in the morning, and it show like I think there is evidence of them going to bars and shit and stopping at like a taco truck or something. And then so like at 4 o'clock in the morning, like, yeah, they're all sleeping, fucking passed out. But you would think there would at least be a scream. You think there would be something. You think somebody would hear it. I don't know. I don't want to speculate. Like, I'm not, this is not what our podcast does, man. And I'm sorry, Audie, for even putting you in the spot, because we've always said we wouldn't do this. But now that we're getting
I
like now that my name's getting dragged into it, I guess. All right. So Harlot said 14 minutes or less, probably 9 minutes or less. But I don't think it would have been hard since he ambushed them while they were probably sleeping and at least half drunk. Like, I've been, you get drunk and fall asleep, like, you're not going to wake up to much. And especially if you live in a party house, like, even if you did hear the door open and close and the dog bark or whatever, like, you probably wouldn't even think much of it. Like, oh, fucking so and so's got a fucking boyfriend over again or a girlfriend over again. You wouldn't think much about it and go back to sleep. But then, like, if your bedroom door opens, I would think like a fucking 8-inch knife going in you anywhere in your body, like other than your legs or arms. If it goes anywhere in your torso or like your face or neck area, you're probably not gonna make a sound. Like wham, one time, be like, and then it would take one to this person, one to that person, and they'd probably just bleed out. I would think, you know what I mean? But
yeah.
we don't know how many times they got fucking stabbed. It could have been fucking brap, 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 brap. Like, I've seen prison movies where they're like "Da, da, 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 da," real quick with a pencil. Like, we don't know how many times. And then if you get stabbed with a knife that big, you're probably just gonna be silent and bleed out, and then you could fucking walk down and then, like, go do the other people in the house. Like, I don't fucking know. What's weird is, like, there was a person who did survive, I guess. And like this girl said that she opened the closet or opened her bedroom door, saw a dude, and then like shut the bedroom door. It's like, I'm sure they're talking to this person too, and like all this stuff will probably come out in court and shit. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's just fucking wild. Like, I don't think like that. I don't know what it would be like to stab somebody to
Yeah.
death, but I
Well,
assume with a
so
knife that big, you could probably do it with a couple of them.
so going off of law enforcement training, I've done training where a person has a knife. It's called a dummy knife, and it is about a 6 to 7 inch blade.
Okay.
If a person is trying to severely hurt you with a knife, the intent is so the force and the rage to put yourself in that mindset and you're wanting to kill somebody, it can happen just like that. And the reason I say that is because in our training, we train from our hands on our belts. How fast can I pull my lethal weapon out before you charge me within 6 feet with a knife? And I can tell you the smallest female can hit you quicker than you can think before you even pull. So if the intent is there to kill you, they will close that gap at 6 to 7 feet. And the further it gets away, the more their intent gets higher. And the more you're like, shit, like I don't, by the time you pull, the knife is already here, here. I got stabbed like, I can't tell you how many times in my chest from a female, little 5'2", to the biggest soldier we had from 6 foot. It was worse with the female.
Okay.
So if this person, and I get it, we don't want to go the rabbit hole of assuming shit, but I can contest from my training with weapons and knives, if the intent is there for him to kill 4 people with a K-bar, yes, he can go inside that house regardless if they're asleep, if they're fighting. I would much rather get shot than fucking stabbed with a fucking knife.
See, that's
Just due to
fucking
the training that I've had. I'm not saying
No,
I was
and
really stabbed, but you get what
no,
I'm
I know
saying.
with the training with the fake blade, right?
Yeah.
They were teaching you. You were being trained. So like just Amber just said, "Oh my God, that's crazy!" Like this is blowing my mind as well because this is the first time they've ever told me that, and
Mhm.
this is the kind of shit that all these fucking stupid YouTubers need to understand. Is like most of the people. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Like I think 100% of the people, as far that I've watched, that are trying to study the Idaho 4 thing aren't in the military and they don't know about combat and with knives or anything for that matter. And what you just said is like mind blowing. It's like, holy shit, how come nobody's talking about that? Like, that's just fucking wild to me.
I
I
don't
never
know.
even thought about that. That's fucking
Yeah.
insane.
For real, next time I come up and see you, I'll bring a dummy knife and my dummy weapon with even my belt, and I will show you how quick that you can get fucking stabbed. Like,
Right.
and it doesn't matter. And that's people don't logically think, oh, it's 4 people. Oh, it was only one man. He only had a knife. If people could logically sit back and think the intent behind someone wanting to kill somebody is way more stronger than what the action is going to be when he does get a hold of them. Because if it's in your fucking head, the human can fucking do some shit. A human with the mindset can do some crazy fucking shit.
Oh yeah. I mean,
And
fuck,
and
we've gone
these
to
fucking
space.
YouTubers don't fucking logically, some do, don't logically think
Right.
of the physics, the mental. They just see, oh, there was a struggle. Oh, like, how do you kill 4 people with a knife? Like, come on, like someone had to hear it.
All right,
No,
let's think about
you
this.
know.
One of the biggest murders of all time was the fucking Manson murders, the Sharon Tate murders at
Mhm.
10050 Cielo Drive on August 8th in 1969. There was 4 people, but they went into a house and they killed fucking what, 4 or 5 people
Yeah.
with
It was
knives. Only knives. No,
5.
well, there was I think Wojtek Frykowski got shot. But yeah, that was all fucking stab, stab, stab shit. And then, dude, another thing too. Think about this: O.J. Simpson killed Ron Goldman and Nicole
Mhm.
Simpson outside in the fucking driveway with a knife,
In
throat
minutes,
slit,
seconds.
stabbed, fucking like they were damn near
Like
beheaded.
he cut it
And
all the
the
way to
fucking the
a,
way the
yeah.
yeah, and the way the houses are in LA, they're fucking side by side, and nobody heard a fucking thing. None of the neighbors like called the cops or nothing. The way they got found was like the next day when somebody showed up and was like, "Holy shit, there's fucking blood all over."
Mhm.
And O.J. Simpson did that with a knife. He killed these
Yep.
people right in their driveway. Wham!
Yep.
Um, please catch up on comment. David Hogan, man, I love you. Thank you for being here, dude. Talk to Audie here for a minute. I gotta piss so bad. So I'm gonna go take a piss. You and Audie bring up comments and talk about it, and I'll be back in a little bit, okay?
All right.
All right. Hold on a second. Wait, I gotta do my thing.
Get another beer. You want one? Yeah, sure. I'll be right back.
Jesus.
I
but
imagine that getting stabbed anywhere in the torso area has got to be kind of like when you get the wind knocked out of you. You know, that's what I imagine it would be like. Anyways,
I just
sucked in. I don't think you're gonna scream.
that's what I'm saying. I think during the training that I've been through, I was more in shock that this person had closed the gap on me so quick. I couldn't think. Now,
Yeah.
had it been a real one, could you imagine the shock I would have had when it hit me? It's kind of like being stung. You ever been stung by a wasp
Oh yeah.
and you not know it until like they're already fucking hit you another time? And you're like, oh shit, I just got stung 6 times. And you look and there's like 2.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the feeling. Like I'm sitting here training 6 feet away, hands like this, little short female. I closed the gap within seconds before I could draw and do anything. And by the time I pulled, I had already hit here, here, and here. So imagine being a real knife. The initial first hit, I'm already in fucking shock. It's fight or flight at that point.
Yeah. You're just gonna try to defend. You know.
What's the first thing you want to do? You want to fucking grab. You don't want to try to
Yeah.
defend. I don't know, man. I just
Well, I mean, you're gonna try
logically,
to like close it up or something.
yeah. In the thought, and here's another thing: the thought of running, going through that training, never once crossed my fucking mind. And the trainers is like, get the fuck away. Like if they've closed the gap by the time you pulled, your other reaction should be step back and try to push. But I couldn't because I was in so much shock that this person had closed the gap on me and I've been hit twice with a fake knife before I even fucking knew it. You know, so the initial shock factor, the physics, the everything that plays into it. So one person can do a lot of damage. I feel like with my training that I've been through, I feel like a person with a knife is a lot more dangerous than a person with a gun. Now, granted, a gun, you can reach out and touch somebody. I get it. A gun, you don't have to move. But you in closed space or you want to do something silently, like I don't want nobody hearing gunshots. I know my kill zone is going to be anything in the throat and the heart. And what my intent's there, so I know that's what I'm going for. Like I'm gonna hit you in the throat and I'm gonna hit you in the chest. So through physics and training, I feel like some of these YouTubers logically need to think about that whole situation. Like, so I seen some comments on a couple of YouTube things where it was like, how can one person kill 4? They could have ganged up or 2 or 3 should have ran, and I don't know. There's so many factors, man. I just more or less fuck the Koberger guy, and rest in peace to those 4 beautiful people. And I feel bad for the family. If anything, I hope the family some sort of justice is served. I hope he gets the fucking death penalty. I don't know, man. I don't know, dude. I get heated when I've been through the training. Now, I'm not saying I'm a fucking expert in killing or I'm not an expert in how to defend people with knives, but if people who are watching get with a buddy and take something that you pretend it's a knife and close gaps, and you'll see the reaction time you'll have. I don't know. That's my 2 cents in it, and I'll shut the fuck up about it.
Reality is almost always different than the movies, you know.
Oh yeah, the movies ain't nothing like fucking getting shot at in real life and your life threatened. The movies, and there's people, I don't know.
Yep.
Melissa Jade is here. Big ups, peace, and shout out to Melissa Jade.
Let me catch up on these comments.
She's the girl that was defending me the other night. She went live a couple days ago. she's kind of the reason why we went live last night was to address the whole situation. I will be going live with her, I believe tomorrow. I'm supposed to go live with her. But Har Little Scara, thank you a lot. Of people really don't think one person could do this or that it's possible in 9 minutes. Hopefully they'll see that.
Oh, it's possible.
It's 100% possible for one person to do it, I think. And like, I just don't want people to think that there was 2 people. Like, if we find out there was 2 people doing it, fine. But I guarantee you that if there were 2 people, the other person wasn't Brent. That's all I know. Like, fuck it. Like, that's all I'm here to say is like, but it's definitely possible for one person to sneak into a house for some people being drunk and passed out at 4:00 in the goddamn morning and to get stabbed with a knife that fucking big. You could definitely pass away from even just a couple of them. You're gonna fucking
Mhm.
bleed out and you're gonna die. And then as far as the other person goes, like someone else said earlier, hold on, bring that one comment back up because I didn't get to catch it yet. But when I was pissing and when I was smoking a cigarette, I did see someone saying about the roommate. Like there was a roommate that opened the door and was like, "What the fuck?" and saw a guy walk by and then shut the door. And then I guess this person didn't call the cops until like 8 hours later or whatever. I would think that like maybe if something like that did happen, especially in a party house where they partied so much, a college house or whatever, if you open the door and you're like, "Oh, there's a fucking dude walking by," like, okay, none of my business. It's not my guess. He's not here for me. You shut the fucking door, go back to sleep or whatever. And then to not call the cops until 8 hours later is because that's when you realize people died. Like maybe that person shut the door and was like, "I'm going back to bed and he's not here for me." And then wake up in the morning and be like, "Oh, fuck, all my roommates are dead." I don't know. I wasn't fucking there, obviously. But that's the only thing that I can like kind of think of. But Har Little Scara said she's commenting to at Just Amber. She called friends after she woke up, most likely, and it was probably because the roommates weren't answering, responding, and or they couldn't get the door open, probably to break in. And then Melissa Jade also said, yes, Dylan got up 3 times from noises. One of those times she saw a man in a mask. Ooh, that's fucking weird. It wasn't around Halloween time. It was November. November, October. Yeah, but it still doesn't make sense for somebody to be in your house in a mask. Melissa Jade, do you want to come on right now and talk to us for a few minutes? Are you open to that? I would love to have her hop on and just talk and Dave Hogan, by all means, like, I hope I'm not keeping you up all night. I know it's like fucking midnight and fucking if you ever get bored hanging out with us and be like, dude, I want to fucking peace out and go to sleep, like, please don't think that you got to be here all night. But I love it that you're here and everything, but I don't want you to feel awkward and be like, they're not talking to me.
You haven't kicked me off yet. So.
No, I'm not gonna kick you off, but if you want to hang out with us, please do. But I'd really like to bring Melissa Jade on if she would love to hop in for give us 5 minutes. Stop in and tell us what you think. And we'll give you more than 5 minutes. We'll give you as long as you want. Please hop in here. I would actually love that. In fact, did you not, Audie? You just typed in the link. So
Yeah,
anybody,
I shared it in
anybody,
the comments.
so anybody can click
Yeah.
that StreamYard.com link, and I guess whoever does it first, come in and talk to us. We'll bring you on live right now, and we'll just hang out. We're not gonna call you names. We're not gonna be mean. I'm just hanging out drinking beers with my 2 buddies, and I figure we might as well go live because that's what a lot of these YouTubers have been doing lately. Has been going live every day. So here's another thing too. Like Har Little Scara just commented something. I'm really sorry that I'm not familiar with all the names of the victims because, as I stated earlier, I don't follow this. I don't know much about
Me neither.
this whole incident. I really don't. So like when I hear names like Xana and Ethan, I I assume that they're victims, right? So, but Har Little Scara said Xan and Ethan could have gotten in a fight, or he could have gotten in a fight with a friend, and she might have thought it was a friend leaving. It's not fair to judge her actions. We don't know. All right, so are you talking about the roommate that opened the door and was like, "Oh shit"? Like, I really don't know. Like, I'd love to anybody hop on, please. Somebody hop on. Click the fucking StreamYard link and come in and talk to us and tell us your opinion. And we're not gonna tell you you're wrong, or we're not gonna overtalk you. We're not gonna yell at you. Like, I just want to see somebody else coming on here because I'm sick of talking. I've been talking for an hour and a half. If anybody would like to speak to us, please do it. Click the link. Anybody, come on, let's go. Just Amber, Melissa Jade, I would love to hear from you. Her Little Scara, I love all
You don't
her
have to come on
comments.
camera if you don't want to. We
Yeah,
can
you don't
just
have
audio.
to have like a nice, super dope setup like Audie and I do. Dave's a scumbag. He don't have a fucking cool setup like us.
My light burned out too.
His light burnt out too
My
because he
light went out.
fucking his light smokes way too much weed.
Yeah.
Melissa Jade said, "I would absolutely love to, but I hate you guys. You're annoying as fuck, and the guy with the beard is ugly." That's what she said. No, I'm just kidding. Melissa J just said, "I would absolutely love to, but I've got my daughter laying next to me sleeping, but I would totally be down for any other time." All right, so we could do it some other time. Tomorrow I'm supposed to go on her podcast. And I'll probably end up doing it. I don't know. I honestly have a lot going on in my life, and I did tell her straight up, like, yeah, let's set up a date. That way I have to feel obligated to do it, but it's still not 100% sure because I might fucking feel like shit tomorrow because I am definitely drinking right now and hanging out with my buddies, and but I'm definitely gonna do my best to hop on her podcast. I call them all podcasts. I don't know, like some people call them panels, some people call them YouTube channels. I don't fucking know. But Just Amber says she's commenting to at Harlot, from everything that we do know and what we've heard, she knew something wasn't right and was scared. That to me makes sense. Like, if, yeah, if she opened, like, yeah, I guess that does make a lot of sense because what I've heard too is that, like, she opened the door and was like, this is weird, guy in a mask, bushy eyebrows or whatever. That's what I've heard. And the guy like left out of the sliding glass door or something. I don't know. I don't know anything about this fucking case, and I'm kind of really
Sounds like
done
there was
talking about it.
zero situational awareness in that house.
Yeah, like it was a
You know?
super big party house, and
Yeah, like a whole bunch of people living in there, so they're all just used to like everyone doing
people
whatever.
coming in and out. Yeah, like
Yeah.
this guy's, like booty calls and things like that. Like somebody's coming in and out, and I don't know, man, dropping off some weed or something. Like the shit happens,
Yeah. And
Um,
meanwhile, they got Kohlberger doing laps around the block. I think like 4 or 5 times.
well, like, yeah, I don't know about that, but like they were saying like there was a car or whatever, like a Elantra, silver or white or something,
Yeah, white.
and they have it driving around, and then like there was a ton of people asking me if Brent had a white Elantra or a silver Elantra. Brent hasn't had a vehicle in at least a year. I hate to put his business out here like that, but Brent got a DUI, and he had a the last thing I know of is he had a big white truck, and he crashed it. He was drunk and he was driving, and he crashed his car, or his truck, I mean. And this was at least a year ago, and ever since then he has not drove. So for people to be like, oh, did he have a white Elantra or silver Elantra? Like, no, Brent didn't even have a fucking vehicle. And then the drip drop guy posted a video where he was showing like photos of the house that his mom and stepdad lived in, and like all this Google Map shit and stuff. Like, if you look up, as a matter of fact, if you look up my house now on like Google Maps, it's not up to date. Like,
Right.
I have different flowers in front of my house now.
Yeah.
And like, even if you look at my house now on Google Maps, it shows cars in the driveway that do not belong to me. And like the flowers that my wife and I planted are not there. Like, and it's the same situation with the drip drop thing. he showed this fucking photo of Brent's mom and dad house with a big white truck and like an Elantra, I believe, it was white or silver, but like it wasn't their house. This was the people that they bought the house from.
Yeah.
Like it's an old fucking picture. I want to catch up on comments too. It was Melissa Jade, I think you're adorable. I really do like you a lot and I trust you. And it was funny when I was talking shit earlier when I was like, she said I fucking suck at life or whatever. She's like, oh, it must have been my autocorrect. That's why I like her, because she can take the fucking shit talking. She knows that I'm just joking. So if I say something to her, she was super adorable back and was like, oh, it must have been my autocorrect. Like, that's why I like her, because I think I can trust her and to where she knows how I like to fucking play around and just mess around. But Melissa did say, I'm just hoping tomorrow night will be the stop
Hang on, I'll pull
to
it up.
all of this bullshit misinformation. That's my goal. Yeah, mine too, mine too, but there's nothing you, I, or anyone else can do. No offense to YouTubers, but like I've already been on ABC Nightline. I'm not trying to make my dick look big, but like I've already done the ABC Nightline thing. And if that wasn't enough, then I don't know what is enough. And I do see that the YouTube thing is blowing up. So I figured maybe if the fucking main media hasn't put a stop to it, then maybe if I talk to a couple of YouTubers, that might help. And I'm sure it'll put a dent in it a little bit. But this will never go away until the next tragedy. Like, it's still an open investigation. Koberger is still in court. And until they fucking seal the deal and they're like, all right, guilty, not guilty, let's just say they say he's not guilty and they let him go, then everyone's going to be like, I told you it was Brent. And then even if they do, all right, Koberger's guilty, death penalty, they're going to be like, yeah, but he had an accomplice. It was Brent. Like, this shit's probably never going to go away. It'll slowly die off because the next, like, no offense to anybody, but like the next Gabby will go missing. The next lawyer's kid's going to crash a boat. Like, something's going to happen to where they're going to eventually fucking forget about it. And I'm not praying for any more tragedies, obviously, but eventually it will stop, and we might as well fucking talk about it now, I guess, because what else are we going to talk about? You want to talk about Oklahoma City bombing? That shit happened like fucking what, when I was in second grade? So Melissa J said, no, you're absolutely right, but YouTubers run in their own circle. MSM isn't what it used to be. What does MSM mean? They spread just as much information. Mainstream media, I believe, is what she's talking about. The drip drop kid was telling me, he's like, when I was like, I don't owe you any explanations. I don't know who you are. I don't owe you any fucking answers. And I told him, I'm like, I've fucking talked to ABC Nightline and whatever. And he's like, all they're trying to do is exploit you with a pretty girl asking you questions. And I'm like, all you're trying to do is exploit me with a painted face. What do you mean? Like, the only thing you're missing is a pretty girl, you fucking scumbag bitch. Like, they're trying to exploit me. Like, what have you done? Like, you literally, like, please, somebody fucking ask, what is the definition of exploitation? Because I'm pretty sure that's what he did to me. They dropped the link in the above chat. I'm not sure what you're talking about here.
I pinned it.
All right,
She
so
can
yeah, if
click it.
anybody wants to hop on, please hop in. I know Melissa J said that she don't, because she said that she babysits giraffes, and she's feeding her baby giraffe right now because that's what she does in her real life. She's a YouTuber, but then in her free time, she goes to this. It's really cool. There's this place in Missouri that Melissa likes to go to, and she adopts giraffes and she bottle feeds them from a tree. And so right now Melissa's hanging out in a tree and she's bottle feeding a giraffe. And I love her for that because I love giraffes. That's my favorite animal. But see, There I go talking shit, and I'm just fucking playing. Like I
You were
really
dead.
do.
You were serious. Shut the fuck up.
No, but see, but here's the thing. Like somebody is going to take that clip right now and be like, "Oh, Darren's spreading misinformation about Melissa." Like that's how easy it is. That's what I'm trying to show you. I truly love this Melissa girl. I like her a lot. I'm not talking shit. I was trying to be funny. I was trying to be cute. I was trying to be adorable. She straight up said she's like, "I'm in bed with my daughter," but I was just trying to be funny and be like, "Oh, this is what people do. Like they're fucking." Do you understand what I'm trying to say here?
No.
Audie, this is why I don't even like you. I contacted Melissa Jade at
How
least
dare you?
about 8-9 months ago. I contacted Melissa Jade and I was like, let's do a podcast. And she's like, no, I'm way too busy adopting giraffes, but I'll hook you up with my friend Audie. And then that's why we're friends. So, but everybody knows I'm obviously just joking. So, Homegirl just hopped in. What is your name? Che Benet?
My name is Shay.
Shay?
Yeah, the nickname is Shay Benet.
Shay Benet, were you not on the Melissa Jade podcast the other night doing the review thing about me, right?
I was, yeah, I was
I thought so.
snapping
I saw
back
your
at
pretty
some
face and
people.
I hear your voice. That was definitely you. So welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. How are y'all?
Okay, I suppose.
We're here.
I don't know what Melissa wants me to do, but I am here. But yes, I was up there, and my husband's a veteran, and I'm very passionate about veterans, and I was snapping back at people.
Yeah, I heard that in the chat there was like people doing the chit chat, and you're like, hey, this is not why we're here, and like you were a mod. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like you were trying to get rid of all that bullshit. And I want to thank you and Melissa for the support because I did see that video, and you guys were basically reviewing the podcast that Ani and I did about it. And I just want to thank you for the support. I'm glad that you're here now. Is there anything at all that you want to say? Bring up a topic, whatever, and we'll just fucking talk about it. I'm bored
No,
as
thank
fuck.
you. No, I
Yeah.
appreciate it, and it's hard to mod in the true crime community, and I actually did listen to y'all's live from last night that y'all did, or your podcast, and a lot of it was really relevant to me, and I could understand. I actually really come from more of the like solved like older cases, cold cases. That's like kind of my area. So the true crime community and like the active cases has been very new for me, and it's a very different area to explore. And if you're not human enough to like understand that real life, like what you do and say affects people from one case to the next, then you got fucking problems. Like,
Mhm.
and I learned my lesson in accusations before and just learned when to shut my mouth. Like, and I just don't think they've ever learned it sometimes.
It takes an adult to put their foot in their mouth and be like, "Oh shit, I was wrong." And it takes an adult to say like, "I'm sorry, I fucked up," or whatever. And that's why I think it's weird when people do the active cases, like especially the most popular ones, because nobody really knows what's going on and they just go on and speculate and talk shit. And then they bring in people like me and be like, this guy, that guy. And it's like, you guys don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You really have no clue. You know, it's weird to me. That's why with Audie and I, we talk about shit like we'll fucking do an episode on Charles Manson or something that's already done and closed, like we're not going to talk about
Yeah.
something that happened yesterday. It's so weird to me. I don't get it, but I get it because it's clicks and clout. And if you like, dude, I'm telling you right now, like we probably have 12 people watching live, but if I put Idaho 4 in the title, we'd probably have way more. And I get that's the one thing that Audie and I will never do. We'll never sell out. We'll never be that scumbag. And like, I'm not saying Melissa's a scumbag. I know she does the Idaho 4 thing, and that's not what I meant. I'm sorry, but like, that's what everybody does to stay relevant. They're like Idaho 4, and then they go live and they'll talk about fucking how Michael Jackson only wore one glove. Like, because that's how they fucking get clicks and shit. And I get it, but yeah, it's just fucking weird to me. This is all new to me too, so I have no idea what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, no, it is really different. Like, I mean, I can kind of like share if you want, like my experience getting into it, because like you got to learn like when your stopping point is, you know. But I actually came over here from I like podcasts. It's actually where my area is. I do get more into like the serial killers and that kind of stuff. So, like, less podcasts on the left and things like that are going to be more my cup of tea. So, but when they had Adventures with Purpose, that diving team, when they were trying to find Kylie Rodney, I was a sub of theirs on YouTube, like beforehand, because they've been out to my area, like Arlington, like Fort Worth, Dallas area. And they were like, oh, check this channel. And then like I found this whole YouTube true crime community, and it was really interesting. So I've been with the community for like a few cases that I've paneled with and been a moderator for, but Idaho is, you know, really it's more of going to be like one of those cases of the century, you know, crimes of the century type things. And it's kind of in an area where it's so polarized that like it went from like everybody wanting justice for like the victims to like extreme theories that like you can't even get them to stop. And it's hurtful. And I mean, I'm looking probably at a list of like 15 to 20 names that I've heard brought up as possible killers in this. And it's sad. It's just, and so Melissa, I came to Melissa's back in like February, March. I love her channel. She doesn't just do Idaho, actually. Like her, these last few segments, she's been doing, we've been doing like this whole, like debunking type series of like wanting to go out there and debunk all the crazy shit that's going on, because it's just really detrimental and it's losing like its basis around facts. But she does like conspiracy and some older stuff, like we've done like the Darlie Routier case and Delphi and all sorts of stuff. But it's just really hard. It's a polarizing area, and I almost like start to think like maybe, you know, for some folks, like it's just become so money hungry and driven. And you could see that in the numbers, because usually when they do a lot of the conspiracy into some of the crazy shit that's happened, like their numbers are flying. But if you just talk the facts, then they might not be there as much.
No, because that's not fucking interesting. If you talk about all the other bullshit, it's like, oh fucking yeah, like that's what they want to fucking do. But I want to let Melissa know. She just commented. She said, "I love being called a scumbag at 1 a.m. Sweet dreams to you." I didn't call. I hope you're not talking about me. I didn't call Melissa a scumbag. If I thought she was a scumbag, I wouldn't come on her show tomorrow. Like, please don't think that. Somebody please rewind and show this lady that I did not call her a fucking scumbag. I never once did that at all.
She's laughing at you.
No, well, she's probably laughing either at me or with me, because I'm a fucking hilarious dude. I try way too hard to be funny.
So
Melissa's sarcastic. She's hilarious.
No, I
keep
know.
in
I
mind,
think
though,
that she. Hold on, Audie Marsh. I think that her and I have the same sense of humor, because I was joking about and stuff. But like, I definitely didn't call her a scumbag. I might have said like, oh, I think what pissed her off probably was like when I'm like, when they put Idaho 4 and the thing, like all these other scumbags. But like, I didn't literally mean Melissa. Like if I had a problem with Melissa, believe me, the way that I talk on our podcast, I am not afraid to call people out. I have said some very fucking bad things about people, and I'm not afraid to call somebody out. So if I didn't like Melissa, I would just tell her that. But no, I've never said that you were a scumbag. And then she's also mad at me because I said that you are the pretty girl. And she's like, oh, I'm not the pretty girl. I'll take you both out to a steak dinner and never call you again.
Oh, I hope you would.
I'm just playing with you guys.
You're good.
All right, so
Melissa
you guys
called
get
me
my
a-
sense of humor.
We do. Melissa called me a bitch the other day on panel. And then she's like, are you mad at me? I was just playing. I'm like, no, you were good. I was just ordering food. I thought it was funny. I just kept moving, you know. We're
Right.
very sarcastic. We don't care.
Oh no, like the word fag is like so offensive these days, and it's like I would never call a gay man a faggot, but I'll call my best friend one every chance I get. You know, like I'll be like, just quit being a fag, dude. But like I don't mean that he's a homosexual deviant. I just mean like quit being an asshole. But when you say
Yeah.
fag now, it's like the gay people are like, oh fucking, why would you say that? So yeah, you call your friend a bitch, a cunt, or a hoe, slut, whatever, fag, whatever. But yeah, I totally get it. Like I have a huge sense of humor and like I bust so much balls. So I'm glad that you guys have that same kind of sense of humor and you get me, and that's
Oh
why I
yeah.
chose to talk to Melissa tomorrow. And because
Oh,
there's
I'm
like
glad.
you have no idea how many people have blown my spot up, like wanting to talk to me and interview me, if that's what, like, lack of a better term. Like, oh, I want to interview you. It's like, fuck you. When you use the word interview, I'm like, fuck you. But
Yeah.
I did watch Melissa's video, and I do like her a lot, and I trust her, so
Oh
I'll
yeah.
talk to her.
She's not afraid to stick up for what she believes in and put you in your place. And
Yeah, and she's mad at me for calling her out on her giraffe feeding business because that was illegal. She's super mad now. She's like, dude, I
she's
have like 19 giraffes, and you blew up my spot.
oh my god. Yeah, she's a mess. She's funny.
No,
We
she
probably get in
seems really rad.
trouble for sidetracking a little bit like in her lives just because like, people are like, we came here just for this topic. But I'm like, when you're talking about something so serious, there's gotta be some humor to like, to ease the flow of the conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And so we
100%.
do that. We got some shit about watching a Honey Boo Boo like thing after going over John Benet Ramsey because I swore that Anderson Cooper had a life size doll of or like cut out of John Benet Ramsey, but I was wrong. It was Honey Boo Boo, and I was like eating my shit or crow or whatever you call it. So we ended up watching a segment for a little bit of laughter, and some people in chat were like, "Really? Why are you watching this?" I'm like, "Come on, like stop."
It's good
Like
to
it's
have
not
people to go on rants and things and get off topic, and that's why I love Audie Marsh so much, is because he's good at bringing me back. And then the reason why I love David Hogan so much is because when him and I are recording music, I'll be like, "What the fuck was I just singing about?" And he's like, "Dude, you were singing about this," and then he'll bring me right back to the recording, and I'm like, "Yeah." So like, this is why I love these two dudes so much, is because they can bring me right back in because I rant a lot, and but sometimes you need the fucking little ranter guy, to be entertaining in the podcast or whatever. So,
Oh, I
um,
love it. You're like arms swinging, just going.
yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. I talk with my hands a lot. Believe me, I'm not Italian, but I still talk with my hands.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel bad that I brought you in here and now Audie and Dave are just sitting here. Probably I guarantee you right now, Audie is thinking about how he can make fun of me next, and then Dave is, I guarantee, he's petting his cat because they're
Yep.
fucking weird like that.
Can I be super honest what I'm doing?
Yeah, please
Yeah.
So
cut in.
my balls are sticking to my leg like a tree frog.
That's
So I
like a
adjusted so
tree
I
frog. That
yeah,
was a great
so I
analogy.
got
I
my
actually
legs
like
under
that.
the table like this so my balls can fall. Sorry.
Okay, so can someone please say something else because I feel like I'm talking her fucking ear off. So
No, you're not. You're fine. I
you
don't want
guys
to
are
talk
not
y'all's ear
making.
off.
I'm trying to like be like, look at me, I'm a professional. My name's Darren Duncan. Please don't think I'm a murderer. And then I'm the one fucking sitting here talking. And someone else say something, please.
So
Fuck.
no, I
And then
got something. I got something. So I read today at work that John Bonet, since you mentioned that the killer or something came forward, uh, and you can correct me if I'm wrong.
yeah.
It was some random dude, something about how the police ignored, I guess, this person.
You're wrong.
And he come out and I can't remember his name.
Gary Oliva.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
about how he got arrested for other shit that he did, and then I guess it came out that he did kill John Benet Ramsey, and some of the evidence, the cops found photos of her on his phone from what, the early 90s or some shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not too keen on it, but I did see an article where they had arrested
So
him
have
or
they
something.
are they insinuating they figured out who killed John Benet Ramsey or no? I thought it was a little brother.
That's what everybody thought too, but apparently this dude had shit on his phone, I guess, that he shouldn't have had of the little girl, apparently. This is just me reading
I
what they posted. So
I was kind of thinking that maybe the little brother, or maybe the brother did it in like some weird sexual thing, killed the sister, and then the parents saw it and was like, fuck, we can't lose both our kids. Like, it's already fucking tragic we lost our daughter. If we tell the fucking cops that our son killed her, we're gonna lose both of our kids. Shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up. Let's write a note and
yeah.
let's fucking go forward. That's kind of what I thought would happen, but fuck, again, I wasn't
So
there.
Melissa said she doesn't think he did it. I don't think the whole story within itself,
I don't know. I don't know if
how
he
it
did or not.
happened. There's so much open-ended stuff. Regardless of this man they have caught recently, it didn't make any sense the way the story went down, the way the parents acted. So yeah, I don't believe it either in a sense, but the only thing significant of it, or the only thing really I see is why would he have pictures of her in his phone and from years ago. I don't know.
So
I'm
it
just
gets
bringing it up because I read it
Yeah, you guys
today.
talk about it. I don't know
yeah,
enough
it
about it.
gets even weirder. So he's one of the 8 suspects that has been like on the list since the beginning.
Hmm.
And he's never been off that list. The reason why they haven't moved further with him is because his DNA didn't match what they had in evidence. And John Bonet's dad actually did a interview with Court TV yesterday, and I watched that.
Hmm.
Because they've been trying for like the last few years to get move the case out of Colorado, or not out of Colorado, out of Boulder and into a different law enforcement. I
Mhm.
think that John had expressed that he was happy that they hired in a assistant chief of police that was not grown up through that police force in a different area, so they get kind of like fresh meat eyes on it.
Yeah.
And there's just had a lot of issues there. But yeah, so this guy, apparently the way this story goes is he has a friend that he's like grown up with. They've stayed in touch like pen pal kind of buddies, like where they write each other.
Mhm.
And he was getting his mail 13 houses down from the Ramsey house at the time of the crime. And he apparently called his friend and said he had killed a little girl 6 hours, I think, before Denver broke the news about John Bonet's murder. And so that was always weird. And then 4 years later, they arrested him on University of Colorado Boulder's campus for child PEDO charges and photo
Mhm.
stuff. So with that in his bag, he had like a scrapbook of John Bonet's pictures and stuff, and also a taser. So one of the things in the autopsy report looked like there was 2 marks that looked like a taser on John Bonet. So that's always been something kind of out there. But like over the years, he's like been in prison. He's still doing time. He's supposed to get released in 2025. But he's been writing his friend. He like draws pictures of John Bonet. He has her like imaged like almost like Jesus on a cross. Like the craziest stuff you've ever seen. Poems, like a Pinterest board about her, like
Mm.
nasty, nasty, weird stuff. And then he sent like his friend a lock of hair in the mail. They don't know where that came from. Like, but
Man.
whatever evidence they have left of this, apparently his DNA didn't match. But I know Melissa's going to say that for me, it doesn't make sense with one, the ransom note. I've always thought that ransom note was super sus. Two, I think agree with I think where Darren was going. I thought it was someone in the house, like maybe it was an accident and then a cover up. That's just my opinion on it.
Yeah.
But Melissa's likes the Linda Arndt interview, and you can't find it like on an ABC channel on YouTube. But we found like like a Ramsey case dedicated channel where we were able to play it. But it's very telling because she was the one person, an officer that was there when they found JonBenét's body, and she seems to think it's someone in the house.
Mm.
And it was very chilling. But yeah, he's been around and they've been talking about him. You could find articles back in like Rolling Stone, like back in 2019, etc., with his name in it and all the weird stuff he's been doing. This
Yeah,
Gary Oliva guy.
it popped up. I looked into it, I read it, and I just, for the sake of that little girl, I hope something is justified in a sense, or I hope we can
Yeah,
get some closure for the sake of her, the little beautiful girl. And I think it was it 96 is when it
it
happened.
was
Yeah,
1996.
I was in 6th grade, and I remember that was like a big thing. I remember watching it on TV and stuff.
Me
Uh,
too. Me too.
but
That was about when I was that age. And for us, like, everything was like in magazines and newspapers. We didn't
mhm.
have social
Yeah,
media,
we
so
didn't have this stuff here, and it was a little
mm-mm.
harder. And Darren and I have talked about. I think we've touched on some John Monet Ramsey stuff, and we also touched on Casey Anthony's bitch ass.
Oh God, I
Um,
hate her. I watched
yeah,
that whole trial. I hate
yeah,
her.
that whole bullshit shit she tried to do to clear her name was fucking cringy,
I couldn't even
and for
watch
the
it.
boss to like take her.
She recently
Yeah, for the boss to take her in and fucking give her a job, or her lawyer or some shit. I don't know. I was
yeah,
like,
took her
if
in and
that,
let her live there.
yeah, if that ain't
There's
fucking
2 people that
sketch.
I 100% think are guilty, is OJ and fucking Casey Anthony. Like, that's where I think the system failed. And,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
we've also seen, like, are you familiar with the West Memphis 3?
I am. I am.
So, like, those kids, they like, before, like, all right, so Audie and I did a whole episode on them, and before
I'll
we
have to go
even
watch it.
went live to talk about it, Audie was like, "Can you believe those pieces of shit are out?" And I'm like, "Wait, dude," because like he had no idea about this
Yeah.
case.
No
And
clue.
then when we were done, he was like, "Oh fuck, like I didn't know all that." But yeah, it's
Yeah.
weird. It can go both ways. Like people go to prison for shit they didn't do, and then fucking I don't know. I just it goes it's fucking
Yeah.
so wild. I
The
don't even know.
the system's fucked.
Well, it's
Um.
not I don't know if it's fucked, but it's the only one that we have, and, like, we just have to, like, I guess, trust it, and, like, how can we change it? Like, it's just I don't
Yeah.
know, like, you just gotta be careful as a human being, as an American, period, because I don't know how true this is, but I've also heard that, like, the average American commits, like, 3 felonies a day, and they don't even know it, you know?
Damn.
Really?
Yeah, like,
Please
but
enlighten me on what I
Yes.
do.
no, like, it's crazy, but, like, I have definitely heard, like, the average American commits 3 felonies a day, and they don't even understand because so many different states have so many different laws. Like, there's some states where you can still marry a goat, and there's some states where
Yeah.
if you spit on the sidewalk, that's a fucking class X felony.
Missionary is a crime too. Shit,
Missionary
I'd have
is a
been
sex
thrown under the
position,
jail.
but
Well,
there's
no
there's
shit, but you can't fuck missionary in some states. It's against the fucking law.
Well,
oh,
then I committed that crime earlier. So
Yeah, I should have got the
uh,
fucking electric chair as many times I've committed that fucking crime.
that's boring. But there's like people just got to be careful, and like I've always said, man, like if someone tells you that they talk to God or they're Jesus, don't believe them. If they ask you to go to a second location, don't believe them, and just fucking tread lightly. Like be careful because you could break a law tomorrow. And like I'm honestly a little bit concerned with, like I know that I'm 100% innocent in all this shit, but like there have been people who have gone to prison for less. Like all I've done is I had a friend that fucking died, and it's like, what if,
I'm
like,
sorry.
beyond a reasonable doubt, like, what if I get called into court because of all these douchebags on YouTube? I'm like, I'm a little bit scared. Like, what if they fucking call me in and like, oh, they throw me in prison for something I didn't do? But I mean, clearly I didn't fucking do it. Otherwise, if I did it, I'd be hiding. I would not be on the internet talking about it. But yeah, just be careful, man. Don't spit on the sidewalk. Don't marry a goat. Don't fucking just be careful because it's
Well,
Damn.
fucking crazy.
I mean, and I mean, I don't know how much you want to talk about it, but like I
You can ask
do.
me anything you want. You can ask me whatever you want.
Well, I mean, it's not about really asking. It's more like I just feel for you in a way that like I don't understand. And this is just where my head's at on this is I recall when there was news about what happened with Brent. I
Mhm.
do because of proximity. I believe that. And you want to know what makes me mad about it is I don't know the whole case. I understand. The last time I looked under the Washington State Patrol Police or whatever investigation, it's still under investigation, is what I'm understanding. What's happened with Brent? Is that right?
And well, I don't know that for a fact because I haven't talked to the police or anything, but there's open investigations happen all the time, and that's what people need to understand is that the shit takes a long time for them to just like, okay, we're done deal, and we're not going to talk about it anymore. Like open investigations last decades. Like for example, when my stepdad got murdered, they put his body in a freezer for over a year before we even talked to a coroner or anything. Like so with Brent, it's my guess is it's probably still an open investigation because the cop that shot him is still an employee of law enforcement and they're
Mm-hmm.
still gotta fucking give him like mental evaluations and make sure that everything's cool. And like Brent's already been cremated. He's already in an urn in his mom's house. Like that, the dead body thing is gone. But as far as
Yeah.
investigation goes, I think it's probably an open investigation, like inside wise, because they still got to talk to the cop that killed him and everything. And like, there's probably like the roommates and stuff that they got to talk to. Like, open investigations can be, I mean, that shit can last forever and ever. Like, it's fucking, there's probably open and get investigations from the goddamn 40s that's happened, you know? But no, I'm not trying to be funny, but I think a lot of people need to understand and they need to respect the job that the authorities have and you people need to understand that you don't deserve answers right now. Like it's not up
Mm-hmm.
to you. It's who are these people to demand answers? Like
Yeah.
it doesn't fucking work that way. You can't just be like, "Well, what happened?" It's an open investigation. I want to know what happened. It's who the fuck are you to be told that? Like the
Yeah.
Brent's mom and dad probably know more than I do. I'm sure as far as law enforcement goes, like with that. But yeah, if it's an open investigation, it doesn't mean that he's involved with the Idaho 4 thing. Because like the Idaho 4 is an open investigation, and like
Mm-hmm.
Brent's thing was a whole separate thing, and it's probably an open investigation. Like I don't know, fucking my DUI from 15 years ago might be an open investigation. I don't know. Fucking do a background check on me. I don't know. I'm just
Well,
saying. Open
anytime.
investigation doesn't mean shit.
So just Amber said, I feel like there should have been like more of a non-lethal measure should have been taken. So I can speak
Mhm.
on that behalf on why there wasn't a non-lethal.
Well, I
Uh,
heard that there was, but I don't know how true it is. I heard that they shot gas into Brent's room, and I also heard that they tried to shoot him with beanbags. And I don't see how they could have shot him with beanbags when he was in his room and they were outside. Like if he's in a fucking apartment building up top, how could they have shot him with a beanbag? And like, I don't know, like let's say had a fucking
so
sniper shooting with beanbags. But
I can clear that up.
I did hear that they tear gassed him. But I heard that they tear gassed him like pretty soon into the whole standoff thing, if that's what you want to call it, for a lack of a better term. But
Mhm.
he was in the room for about 8 hours before they decided to kill him, and I did hear that they tear gassed him first, and it's like, okay, like, why didn't, how would he have shot at the police after he got tear gassed in his little fucking tiny bedroom? And when his brother went into, like, after Brent was killed, when the family was allowed to go into the room, there was no, his whole room was empty. There was nothing in there. The cops already cleared out everything. The only thing that was in Brent's room was Audie, what's the paperwork, like the main paperwork when you get discharged from the army, what's it called?
It's a DD 214.
Yeah, that was in his room and it had his blood splatter on it. And there was some electronics in the room, like a DVD player, a TV, a PlayStation, things like that. But there was no bullet holes anywhere, and there was no clothes, no bed, no dresser. The fucking bedroom was 100% empty,
Oh my
except for
gosh.
that army discharge folder and some electronics. And then his cell phone was sitting face down on the kitchen counter, and it was wiped clean. The cell phone was fucking factory reset, which is weird
What?
because yeah. So if he was killed, and like, I'm not trying to, because I know that there's people thinking that he was a patsy in the government and all this stuff, and what I'm telling you right now kind of makes it sound like that. I could see why people would think that, but
My brain's not going there, I promise you.
well, I'm glad, because, like, dude, if I thought that, then I wouldn't even bring it up. I'd be like, I don't know what happened to him. But I'm just telling you the
Yeah.
facts of what I know of what happened. But his cell phone was face down on the kitchen counter when the brother went in, when Brent's bloodline brother went in, the next day or a couple days later or whatever, to gather his belongings, which he fucking had none in the room. All the shit was in the fucking storage unit. And guess what?
Mm.
I got a lot of it. So fucking tell the FBI that. They can come and fucking look at the shit that I got from his fucking storage unit that his mother mailed me. It was mostly like toys and clothes and shit like that. I have his goddamn hat right here, like,
Aw.
yeah, I
Yeah.
know. I love that dude and I miss him. But it was weird that his phone was wiped clean, because I was at work, dude. I was working at General Mills at the time, and I was working 12-hour shifts at night. And it was around, I think, 4 o'clock in the morning when I got a phone call. And they just kept calling. And I'm like, I'm at work, and I just fucking kept like turning it off, like sending it to voicemail or whatever. And the
Mhm.
person kept calling. And I'm like, all right, whoever this is, it must be important. Like, I hope one of my kids aren't in the hospital and this is like an EMT calling me or something. So I finally fucking answered it. And she's like, this is the fucking detective, whatever. I still have her fucking phone number. And she's like, this is fucking whoever so and so. Do you know Brent Kopacka? I'm like, yeah, he's my best friend. Why? What's going on? And then she's like, is he violent? And I'm like, who are you again? I thought it was I thought somebody was fucking with me. And
Mhm.
I'm like, no, he's not violent. What do you mean? And she's like, well, he's in his bedroom and he won't come out. He got into an argument with his roommates, and we're the cops and we're here at his house and he won't come out of his bedroom. And I'm like, okay, like, is he okay? Like, is he alive and shit? Like, what's going on? She's like, yeah, he's okay, but we just want to ask you some questions. I'm like, well, what's up then? And then she asked me if he was violent, if he owned a gun, and if he was in the army. And I'm like, yeah, he was in the army a long time ago. And I'm like, he probably has a gun. Like, this is America. We all have guns. I'm like, but
Right.
it doesn't mean that, like, he's gonna use it. Like, what's going on? Let me talk to him. And she's like, no, I can't let you talk to him, but if I have any more questions, can I call you back? And I'm like, yeah, of course you can. We hung up, and I immediately started texting him and calling him, like, what's going on? And then I'm not getting any fucking anything from Brent. And then the next, so I got off at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like hitting up friends and shit. And I'm like, what's going on with Brent? Does anybody like know what the fuck is going on? And I finally got a hold of his ex-girlfriend from like years ago. And she's like, well, I'm friends with his stepmom on Facebook. I can contact her. And I'm like, yeah, fucking give me your shit. And so she told me the name, and I messaged his stepmom. And she's like,
Mhm.
Brent died. He got killed by the cops. And I'm like,
Oh my
I'm like,
God.
yeah, I'm like, I knew it wasn't a joke because you don't fucking joke with somebody like that, you know? Like,
Yeah.
so I called her right away, like on the Facebook caller, and I'm like, what happened? And she's like, we don't know yet. He got into an argument with his roommates and the cops came and killed him. And I'm like, it's fucking weird because the cops called me last night. And she's like, well, I don't know why they didn't call us. Like, we're his parents. Why'd they call you? And I'm like, I don't know. Why did they call me? But it makes me wonder if like if he was in this standoff situation with the cops and they were like, call my friend Darren or something, like
Yeah.
I want to talk to, like, I don't know. I can't speculate on that, but the shit blows my mind because I wish I was there with them
Mhm.
because I guarantee that I could have talked them down or whatever. Like I could have been like, whatever's on the other end of that door, like you and I are gonna face it together and we're gonna get through it. And like you might be in trouble. You might go to jail for fucking telling your roommate you was gonna beat him up or shoot him or whatever, but you'll be alive. And that
Mhm.
we didn't have that option. The cops just showed up and fucking killed him. And it's fucking wild to me. So like that's the story. And like
Yeah.
we're saying it I think this is the first time I've ever actually said what really happened. As like I don't know. I'm glad that you're here for it, but yeah, that's pretty much what happened. That's what happened the night that he died. And then within a matter of days, I started seeing shit on Reddit that he was involved with all the Idaho 4 bullshit. And I
Mhm.
think the only reason why that happened was because the two incidences happened so close together in
Yeah.
distance and in time. Like they were like 20, it was like a 20-minute drive or something, and it was also
Mhm.
like a month apart. So I think that people were like, "Oh shit, this happened around a school. This happened around a school 20 minutes apart. Like I bet they're fucking related." I think that was just people on the internet being assholes about it. And then
Yeah.
um I don't know.
Uh,
I think the Koberger thing when he got pulled over or whatever, because people are bringing that up too. Like, oh, we heard about they were trying to act like they left the school or whatever because they heard about a shooting, and it was like, no, you left because you were going for Christmas break. You were going back to the East Coast for Christmas break. You know, like you didn't leave
Yeah.
because you were scared for your safety because they weren't even at the same building. You know what I mean? Like it's just fucking stupid, dude.
Yeah. It definitely got reignited, and I had only looked up the thing with Brent, like in the investigation, because I was helping work on like kind of, I'm not going to call it a myth buster, but like what's confirmed with law enforcement. I like to put the facts out there, and I am well aware that when there is an officer involved shooting with a civilian, there is going to be an investigation. That's not uncommon. That's going to happen. But like I think the proximity, like you said, and the timing, because if I look at it in parallel around that time, that's right when like Moscow PD like started talking about, they were putting out the bolo for the White Elantra. And I don't know, why the two technically, other than the proximity, would be brought up, because, you know, uh, my heart, like, whatever it is, like, there's so many veterans that battle different stuff that goes on that gets no news, nothing to talk about. Like, and if anything, like, whatever comes out of, the stuff with Bryn, I don't know if there's a trigger or what happened. I don't want to be assuming, but I think that you could learn something from it. I hope both sides do. Law enforcement, like, to know like why they didn't try to ease their methods with him. He didn't
What I
sound like a
what
violent person.
what I think happened, I think the reason why Brent was killed so fast is
Hmm.
because I think, all right, so the Idaho 4 murders happened on November 13th.
Right.
Brent's situation was like December 14th or something, 14th, 15th, into that hour. And I think this is my opinion. I think what happened is all right, so we had these murders that happened 20 minutes away, and then at this school area, this guy, like there was a phone call about like our roommate has a gun, he's gonna fucking kill us. That's what these people called 911 for. So I bet when the cops came, they were like, "Oh shit, dude! Like a month ago, there was these fucking murders that happened like 20 minutes away. I wonder if it was that fucking guy." And then so they come in and did the standoff thing, and they're talking shit back and forth or whatever. And I think they were like, I bet that's the dude that did that. And I think that's why they fucking killed him so fast, is because they at first, I think the cops might have thought that it was him. And then they killed him. And then they go into the room and they're like, oh shit, we fucked up. This was a completely different thing. This was a fucking army veteran with PTSD. And he got into an argument with his roommates and we fucked up. This was not the fucking guy that we thought we were coming to fucking arrest or take down or whatever. And then the cops cleared them and they were like, yo, these are two completely unrelated incidences. And then it was the YouTube kids that ran wild with it and were like, oh, it's all this fucking connections. There's no I'm gonna tell you right now, there's no connections. It's assumptions. All right. There's two different words. There's no
Well,
connections, there's assumptions. And
you're
another thing
right.
too, and I'm really fucking sick of the people that say I don't believe in coincidences. That shit fucking pisses me off. Until a fucking coincidence happens to you, shut your fucking mouth. Like we can fucking look up, we can Google right now the fucking definition of coincidence. Coincidences happen every goddamn day in all of our lives. There is such thing as a coincidence. So if you're gonna be a fucking YouTuber and say I don't believe in coincidences, then fucking I don't know, try to suck your own dick. I'm getting mad again, and I'm trying to fucking not be like
You're
that. But
yeah.
that
Well,
that that's what I think happened. I think that when the cops first showed up, they thought that he was involved, and then after the standoff, that they killed him, and they were like, "Oh fuck, man, this is just a kid that we fucking got into an argument with, and we fucking shot him." That's what I think happened, and now they're trying to fucking. Oh, it's an open investigation, obviously, because the cop that killed him is probably on paid leave, and he's probably got to go to therapy. Because Audie Marsh, right here, he can attest to this. He is a active military police officer. If you were going to sit like all police officers go into every single situation knowing that there is a gun involved, and the gun involved is the one on your hip. And if you go into a situation like that, now there's two guns involved. Now the officer drew his gun, killed the fucking kid, and now he has to go to fucking therapy because that's what his job is doing for him, providing therapy for him, and you got to talk about it. Because I think there's even situations where even if you pull your gun and you don't fire, you still got to go fucking talk to a doctor about it. Audie, correct me if I'm wrong, man.
Yeah, I got put on a couple days. I didn't shoot nobody, but just for pulling my weapon, they'll put you on in the army, and I'm sure it goes somewhat similar to the civilian police with Brittany. She was a civilian police. Now she works for the government police, but it's protocol, it's policy. Anytime lethal force is used or presented, there is some sort of like administrative retraining. There's if you shoot somebody, then it's sometimes they'll put you on admin leave or leave without pay just due to the simple fact the nature of the event. It all depends on what department, but yeah, I'm pretty sure the individual that was dealt with the situation with Brent um, is, I'm sure he's seeking help. I would hope. Um, I can kind of speak on where the police officers come into play with situations. Like we can sit here and say, "Fuck those cops! They should have known better. They should have did this," but we were not there that night. And I hate to say it, regardless of what Brent was going through, obviously something happened that night that involved the police. So you wasn't there, I wasn't there, so we don't know where Brent's mind was at. You've told me the story about the DD-214. What this tells me is that Brent was so far in the rabbit hole of depression that DD-214 was the only thing he was hanging on to that night. That's the way I see it. That's the
Okay.
only thing he had left that could bring himself to somewhat of I'm still alive, because your DD-214 tells you everything that you have uh, achieved in the Army. It's like your final report. And the
Mhm.
Army is so adamant on they give you one fucking copy, and it's like the golden ticket. You either make copies of it. If you lose that one copy, from my understanding, it's so hard to get the exact same copy. You can get replicas, but it's hard to
Yeah.
get that one copy. So what that tells me, and the story that I am picturing dealing with what I deal with anxiety and PTSD, he was
Mhm.
hanging on to something that night, and that DD-214 is what held him to somewhat of a closure, it being that's the only thing that was found in that room. So we don't know what Brent
Wow.
was going through that night.
Yeah,
He
I didn't even think about it
obviously
like that.
he
That's a really good point to bring up. I
he
didn't even
he
think about
hit
that.
Darren, he hit a wall, that I can I can assume myself the police reached out to you because I feel Brent was yelling for you. That's where I
Yeah.
see it. I feel like that's where the cops had tied you into it. He had mentioned your fucking name, bro. I don't mean to be emotional,
No, that's
but
what I think too. Cause like, why did they call me? You know, and like
exactly.
they didn't call
Brent
his mom, they
Brent
didn't call his
told them
dad, they
to
called
call
me.
you, bro. I'm
That's what I'm
telling you.
thinking. I'm thinking when he was going through the talk down thing or whatever, call my friend Darren.
Yep.
That's what I think. Because why else would they have called me? And then it's so fucking strange that the only thing they left was the DD2 fucking 14. Like,
DD-214. So
and
what that cop went through that night, bro, we don't know what Brent was doing, dude. The-
Mhm.
right,
as a police officer, we want to go home at night. We don't want to fucking kill people. It's and you've heard me say this before. It's either them or me. I'd
right,
rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. So
right. I
whatever that
know.
officer had to do that night, it
I get
happened,
it. I get
you
it.
know?
And but see, here's the thing is like, it still doesn't connect them to the murders in Idaho 4.
No.
Like,
I
right. Like,
no.
Brent's situation, like, was a fucking very tragic event, and clearly the cops dealt with a kid with fucking PTSD, and it was a tragic event, and Brent didn't deserve to die that way,
No.
but he did die that way, and he got into an
We
argument with the
we
police,
don't
and they
know.
killed him, but it has nothing to do with the Idaho 4, and that's what people need to fucking stop trying to fucking connect the 2.
Yep.
Like, it's tragic enough that I lost my best friend the way that I did, and he died the way that he did, but they're d they're not connected, man. There's
No.
no way to connect the
There's
2.
not. The only thing that went through Brent's mind that night, I feel I can somewhat relate, was he was crying for help, and he took it to a whole nother level because that's all he knew.
Yeah, and I
And
think,
that's it. He was
yeah,
not tied to no fucking Idaho bullshit. He wasn't
Yeah.
tied to none of that shit. And I know exactly where his mind was at because I've dealt with it on other soldiers. I've personally had issues with the dumb shit.
Mhm.
It is what it is. It I wish, and I'm getting fucking pissed. I wish people
I'm
would just
getting
shut the fuck
sad,
up.
like, it's fucking crazy.
I'm
It
I'm
makes
just
me sad because, like,
I'm
I've
glad
always,
to go ahead.
I'll say it makes me sad. I was actually crying earlier when I was listening to your your podcast from last night because, like, I'm a very big advocate for mental health and military and veterans, and my ex-husband like has had it PTSD for years, and it took 10 years for the VA to finally get him the
yeah.
help that he needed, and I mean, he lost everything,
The VA
but
is
his life.
garbage.
Yes, and it's so sad. So I'm understanding everything you're saying, and I don't think that they're connected. I don't, and I don't know why the cops did what happened there. but I think it's a proximity thing, and it's not fair to put that on Brent, who is a hero who served our country and has been through some shit, and to just drag him like this with this awful case of these murders is it's unbelievable. And it gets worse beyond Brent though. Like even the victims themselves, like people are out there saying that they lived in a trap house and like their parents are finding this out and hurt. Like they
Trap
weren't
house
these
is like a drug
yeah,
house, right?
yeah, they weren't. They're calling their kids druggies and stuff. It has nothing to do with their
Yeah, it's
murders.
crazy.
And they weren't. And people are just awful. Like, why can't you just let the dead rest in peace?
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
it's the social media thing that we have. It's like now everybody has a voice and they can say whatever they want without repercussions, you know, so anybody can just do what they want, and it's scary. Like they're fucking up other people's lives, but
no, they
I
are.
think
And
I think that's why.
I was gonna say they are. And I actually used to watch your your crime circus friend when he on his interrogation videos. And whenever I
Don't
saw
say crime circus friend. I know you were being funny. Fuck you, Drip Drop. I'm gonna fuck you up, kid. I'm
and
just kidding.
Your Willie Lump showed me a funny meme that you made about it
Oh,
too.
Willie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Willie's cool. I like Willie.
yeah.
The
Willie's good
the Frank
people.
guy can fucking eat a bowl of dicks, but I'm
Oh
sorry I interrupted you. Tell me about this Drip Drop kid again. What about him? You
yeah.
used to watch him?
I watch his interrogation stuff. Like I do like watching some interrogation videos, but I saw this stuff come out about Brent, and I was one of the first ones to comment. I was like, I was like, your information's wrong. Where the hell are you getting this? He did not live in Pennsylvania. And I don't know why you were saying all these things. Like, I mean, I don't understand it. I don't know why. Like, okay, this is the sequence of events, and I keep telling people this shit. After, the video came out of what Brian's dad said in the car being pulled over, I'm sure had he known that this whole thing would blow up, he wouldn't have said that.
Right.
But that goes down, and then, nobody's satisfied with the arrest of Brent from a part of the true crime
You
community.
mean
They
Brian?
didn't want to. Oh, sorry, with Brian. With his arrest, a lot of people were not happy about that. I don't know why. That's what bothered me. It's like they wanted justice for the victims, but they're not okay with what's there. They don't understand that a PCA is probable cause. That they're
What's PCA? Because I've heard you mention that a lot. I see a lot of YouTubers say PCA. Forgive my naivety, but what is PCA?
it's the
That just
probable
shows how
cause
much I
affidavit.
don't know. Okay, all right. So, because I've had a lot of YouTubers be like, I only follow PCA, and then I've also had YouTubers be like, I don't follow it. So I'm glad that you just said that because I'm fucking none the wiser.
Yeah,
So, all right,
yeah. The
carry
probable
on.
cause affidavit that was put forward by Idaho. Um, and it was issued in 3 states. They have 3 probable cause that went to Washington for Brian's apartment and office, right? Idaho for obvious reasons with where the crime happened, and then Pennsylvania where Brian was at his parents' house. That's where he was arrested. So I do follow that PCA. It's enough information to be able to arrest him, and then the investigation goes further into looking into all kinds of records, etc. But I don't know why everyone kind of in true crime thinks that your whole case has to be in this one document. That's not true. There's more discovery that goes into it, and you got to allow due process in court, right? But throughout this thing, you know, Brent got brought back up and it hasn't stopped. And there was another channel that did a big piece on Brent. And you were on the segment with ABC, and I watched it. And I was like, oh, I'm so glad that you got to like speak out on Brent's behalf and his memory because I hated how he was dragged. And then I saw that right after that, Crime Circus dropped another, like, I don't know, 2, 3 videos or whatever about Brent. And I'm like, did you not fucking watch the news? Have you not learned anything? Are you really
Well,
doubling down on this?
I think he did see the ABC Nightline thing, and then now he's like, okay, cool. Now they got somebody else to talk about. That's what I think because Brent's dead, and like nobody can bring up anything about Brent. Like they can only find what they can find, and it's like so now that since I've been in the media, now they could be like, oh, here's something else. And it's funny too because I've said before that these people already shot their load. Not to be gross, but like they've already shot their load about me, and they could fucking they've already put all my shit on blast about this is everything that this guy does. And but it's all shit that I've already posted on the internet. So it's like fucking
But you don't deserve that.
they have nowhere to go from here. You know what I mean? But I think the reason why it might have resurfaced is because of the ABC Nightline interview that I did, and like now they have someone else to talk about because they can't talk about Brent forever because Brent's not going to do anything else in the news to make them be like, oh, I think Brent was involved. And then when his fucking friend talks, they're like, oh, now we have something else to go on. And then
But
when I quit
that goes
talking,
to
which is
show
going to
how they're
happen
just.
very soon, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. It's like that just shows like how disrespectful that they are. Like when somebody can't like speak for themselves, like they're not here anymore. You need to shut your mouth, And if I believe if the police thought that Brent was involved, that would have been included in some documents or something of the sort. I have
They
checked
cleared him.
everywhere.
They already one
Yes,
of the first things they did was clear him. And if
he's never been
any
mentioned.
no, and if me being in the media, if they thought that Britain was involved, me being the guy who knew him more than anybody, don't you think they would have came and talked to me? Like
Yeah.
they would have fucking not one cop has knocked on my door. I've got no fucking emails, nothing. Like no cop has ever been like, "Hey, let me see the machete," or like, where were you on November 13th?" Or like nothing. So it's just they're just I think that you know this. I don't even have to say it out loud, but I guess I'll say it again. Is that like the YouTubers are just using current news to stay relevant to
Mhm.
fucking do current stuff to get the likes and the shares because if they were like new episode about Charles Manson, August 8th, 1969, nobody's gonna watch that because they can go on
Yeah.
fucking Hulu or A&E or Netflix and watch a documentary about that. But if you put Idaho 4 in the fucking title, they're gonna watch it. And like what's fucking weird is like all these YouTubers go live every day. Like these people don't even have lives. They're like, you go live every day about this shit, and they all talk out of their ass. And most of the time, if you watch these people, they're not even talking about Idaho 4. But that's the fucking title in their fucking headline, so you could click on it and like, oh, what's new in the fucking Idaho 4 thing? It's just crazy. And like some of them even do like Idaho 4, Darren Duncan's innocent, and it's like, why would you put Idaho 4 and my name in the title? Like I'm not even included in Idaho 4. Why would you even put Brent Kopaka's name in the Idaho 4? Because they're two subjects that have nothing to do with each other. You might as well say fucking Oppenheimer invented the fucking O.J. Simpson trial. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is
Yeah.
going on? It's fucking weird to me.
It,
I'm new to this. I'm new to this, so please excuse my naivety.
no, you're fine. And I will be honest, like I think that's why, with Melissa we started doing the, debunking series is because we had moved on to covering other trials, like talking through like after, say they just had recently Gannon Stout, Letitia Stout trial. They had Lori Davallo. Um we talk through like after like each day like what happened, that's reported in the court system, what people's reactions are, that I feel like is kind of in a safer spot, is not much speculation, and then what we would do is that like if they did a document drop, so like on the Idaho website, like if they're filing new documents within the course or within the court, then we might go live and talk about what those may mean to the case and when the trial is expected to start. And then it was like we realized that like when we were in this little world of like covering other cases or trying to get out other missing person stories, that there was this other group that was just still, like you said, like so far down the Idaho part that like there were crimes or not crimes, there was things that were happening of people that may have been connected to some of the victims or went to school there, and they got in trouble for drugs, and they have their own crime that they got in trouble for. But just because you have two incidents doesn't mean that they're related, right? And so then they tried to start relating this incident with someone that knew the kids and calling it, like I said, the trap house and all this other stuff. So it's like they are pulling at anything that they can find. And it's, I don't know, it's really, really sick. I went down even one rabbit hole that somebody found that there was back in, I guess, like World War II, they had built like bomb, all the underground bomb shelters and stuff. And there's one that's like underneath the University of Idaho, and it's only accessible through for staff. So this one guy like goes in and he like literally is cherry picking out the content that he wants about these underground tunnels, and he comes up with this whole damn thing that like they have a bishop and like Pablo Escobar underneath there, and they're moving stuff up through the Greek row, which is like the sororities and fraternities, and like the wildest stuff you've ever seen. It is nuts. So I'm telling you guys, like it's like safer to not like go down that, but like, and I think that type of mentality and group is what keeps getting Brent brought back into this, and it's toxic.
It 100% is, and I'm done. I'm done watching these people's videos. I'm done going down the rabbit hole, and because if you just keep looking for it, if you knock, I've said before, like if you knock on the devil's door, eventually he's gonna answer. And I could fucking do tarot card readings about you too. Like it's fucking so weird. I could pull out fucking tarot cards right now and just like, have you seen these videos? I'm sorry, like Shay, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So like, have you seen the tarot card reading videos about me? Where like people are like read no, well, if you want to go down the rabbit hole, like go ahead and do it. But like there's apparently there's people like going
Yeah.
live on their YouTube doing tarot card readings about me. And this one girl said that I'm obsessed with clowns, and she is convinced that I was the guy in a clown mask that stalked her a couple years ago. Like,
What?
yeah. Like I live in Illinois. The farthest I've ever traveled as an adult was like Minnesota. Like one time I took my wife and my kids to the fucking Mall of America in Minnesota. That's like the farthest I've ever been.
Oh my
I don't know
gosh.
where the tarot card lady's from. Audie, do you know? Like, did she say in her YouTube video?
No, I don't recall. I just remember her low key like backhanding commenting like, if I made a shrine and I put this knife on it and I put scream and then I put
It was probably like a kitchen knife or something stupid. I hate
then
people. I hate
she
people.
went on. I don't know, dude. I don't even want to bring it up because I was watching it
No,
the
I
other
know,
day
but
at lunch. I'm fucking tired right now, so I'm like,
Oh, sorry.
no,
no, it's
we're
not your
about to get
fault.
we're about to get out of here.
Yeah,
It's like 1 in the morning. We've been live for
yeah.
2.5 hours. I'm ready to
Shay, it's
go
not your
to
fault. Like, I'm fucking just tired because I've been up since fucking the last morning, like a morning ago.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, she was something else, and all she could do, it was like I was telling Darren, and we'll end it with this unboxing people, like people who unbox things and review things, tend to like the true crime stuff and horror stuff.
Mhm.
But from what I watched, what she was doing is she was unboxing Drippity Drop Cock Drop, his video, she was just talking about, yeah, Drip Drop mentioned this, and I could tell you that he's one of the good ones, and I'm just like, you must have watched our video of us fucking roasting the little shithead for you to make that
weird.
video. So I don't know. I
Sounds like she drank the
defend
Kool-Aid.
Darren. I defend Darren uh, a lot you know,
Mhm.
he'll sit back in the cut and I'll just fucking go into these I don't care. I want to fucking roast these motherfuckers. I want to fucking clap back, but I don't know. I'm just tired of the shit. Shay, thank you for coming on.
Thank
Yes,
you for having
It
me.
I
means a
adore
lot.
you. You're amazing. I love you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank
You don't have to say I love you too. Like you know what I mean. But like
No, I love you guys. Y'all are awesome. Thank you for having
um
me.
but
Audie and I we were talking last, like Audie and I go live every Friday night at 9 p.m. Central Time. And
Okay.
him and I talked earlier today, and I'm like, a lot of these, like 'cause him and I don't have that big of a following, and I was talking to him and I'm like, a lot of these people with the big followings that like they go live every day. I'm like, maybe we should try to go live tonight, like 2 days in a row. And him and I were like, dude, you know we can't do this every day, right? Like we have a live. And I'm like, no, I know, but let's go live 2 days in a row. So him and I went live tonight, and we had no, usually we have a subject we're going to talk about, like last podcast on the left. That's kind of the thing that we like to do. And
Cool.
but tonight we were like, fuck it, let's just go live and bring in listeners. And I'm glad that you came in, and I appreciate you so much. But it is 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm pretty buzzed up, and I don't really want to talk live on the internet anymore. I kind of want to go upstairs and eat some pizza rolls. So I think I'm done. Like, I'm just being honest, man. Like, this is the real Darren Duncan. I'm not a maniac. I'm not gonna go fucking kill people. I'm gonna go eat some pizza rolls and probably watch a scary movie. So fucking, but I appreciate you for hopping on here, and I do adore you, and I think that you're an amazing person as far as I know, and I think you're fucking amazing, and thank you. And I
Thank
would love
you.
to have you on any other time. And I
Sure.
plan to go live tomorrow with Melissa, but again, like I don't know, I might be hungover, and I might be like, I don't want to do it today. You know what I'm saying? But
Well, I will
um,
be there. I'm gonna help her out so we can make the
cool. I'm just
experience
saying,
good for
full
you.
disclosure. Full disclosure. This is what I do. I'm an open book. I'm an open book, and I might tomorrow. I might be like, man, I'm hungover. I don't want to do it. But you
Well,
know
I'm
what I
gonna let
mean?
you go eat those pizza rolls so you're not hungover.
Well, what if I
But
change my mind and I want chicken nuggets instead? You gonna let me go upstairs and eat chicken nuggets instead?
no,
you can
come
have
back down here.
you can have as many chicken
No, but
nuggets as you want.
I'm fucking with you guys. But thank you so much, Shay, for hopping on, because it's just wild. Like not too many people will do
Yeah,
that, and
it's
I
good to hear
appreciate.
it
Thank you for
from.
the support first and
Yeah,
foremost. Thank you for the support. Even if you fucking didn't agree, or like even that's just like, and we never met and like did the podcast thing. It was like, just thanks for the support, man. Like whether you do it
Oh,
silently or fucking on the internet or whatever, like just thank you. Like that's really really
yeah,
cool. I appreciate you. Thank you.
well,
That's
my
that's
pleasure. We're
yeah.
praying for
Thanks.
you, and I know it takes time to heal, but I'm gonna jump down. I'm gonna see you tomorrow. So go eat what you gotta eat.
all right. I think I changed my mind. I think I might eat a corn dog
God, bye guys.
Bye.
later.
All right,
All right,
dude.
man. Audie, in all realness, man, I fucking got to get out of here, dude. We've been live for like 2.5 hours, and I'm just like,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
done
tired.
with it.
I'm
I'm
tired.
done with it. I don't want to
Yeah,
talk anymore, G-Bo.
I hear you, man.
I'm
Hey,
done.
for real
I want
quick,
to
for all
go.
the
I want to go
people.
eat some food. I want to go fucking watch Goldberg's the greatest TV show of all time. I want to go fucking. I want to go to sleep, man.
I hear you. Well, thank you
But
all for.
I do love that girl, man. I like her, man. She's adorable. I like her a lot, and I really truly appreciate her support.
Yeah, it's good to
And
hear it
thank
from someone else that is more involved with everything than what you and I are in a
Yeah,
sense.
like yeah,
So
she
it's
knows
good to
way
hear it because
more.
I'm lost in the sauce with this whole thing.
Dude,
So
like I don't know shit about the Idaho 4 thing, and like she does. And like
yeah,
it's weird because like everybody's dropping my name on the Idaho 4 shit, and I don't know anything about it. To me, it's just another documentary I see on TV. It's just another one of those fucking true crime documentaries I see on TV. And then like, but on the YouTube thing, it's like all your names in it and fucking my homeboys in it. It's like, this is weird. And I don't know anything about it. So like to talk to
yeah,
other people who actually know a lot about it, like it's fucking weird to me. Be like, I know more about the thing that people are saying you're involved in than you do. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fucking wild. It's fucking crazy. But the Goldbergs is the greatest TV show of all time. That and I like Sons of Anarchy a lot, but you can only watch Sons of Anarchy once. Well, I guess not. I don't know, but we've been live for 2 hours, man, 2.5 hours. I'm
Yep.
fucking hungry, bro, and I want to get out of here. I love you so much, Audie, and
Love you.
like, dude, the Harlot Oscara, the Just Amber, the fucking. We've had so many fucking people hopping in the fucking chat, and like, I love it. Tess Mack, fucking Jamie Texas chick. There's been tons of you. Like, thank you guys for really like. These are people that we're not used to watching us. Like, y'all are new names to us. So thank you for being here, man, and thank you for the support and just fucking. I really appreciate you guys. I've been through a lot in the last 6 months, and I'm just glad I know that I'm not like Audie's not the only one that's got my back. So I love you guys. I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm gonna go watch fucking Goldbergers and fucking eat a corn dog or something.
All right, man.
All right, I love you, Daddy. Y'all see you later.
All right, man. I love you. I'll see you
Peace
later.
out.
See you, man. I'll just awkwardly stare at the camera before I hit the intro. But no, thank you all. Thank you all for tuning in. It's really nice to see other people support, especially from my best friend. So thank you all. I'm tired. My balls are officially stuck to my leg because I'm sweating right now for some odd reason. Love you all. And until next time, see ya.
Thank you for tuning in to our little Passion Project podcast. Remember, we go live every single Friday night, same damn time, same damn channel. So if you miss it, don't blame us.